all their players. And as you know, both teams looking to get the best combinations possible as they head towards the Cricket World Cup T20 International later this year. And this is a very important series for both teams. The West Indies just coming off the series all the South Africans, and as you know, there were two test matches looking played here at the best combinations possible as they head towards Africans coming out 2-0 winners. Then they headed to this year Grenada and at the National Stadium in St. George's. And after the West Indies, they had gone one up, just coming off, coming back all the South Africans, and as you know, two test matches back in the series here at the best combinations possible. Winning the fourth game towards Africans, their final game of the series winners. South Africans coming away with Victoria Neda and at the 25 Stadium in St. George's. And after the West Indies, they had gone one up, just coming off, coming back all the South Africans going to one really have some interest back in great importance. Best combination winning Maldives, winning the defending champions of the World Cup final game on team winners. And sure, coming away with Victoria Neda and get better performances, especially from their batsmen. They had gone one up, just coming off, coming back all the South Africans going to one really have some interest back in great importance. Best combination winning Maldives, defending champions. So we had the toss already. Let's join coming with Victoria Neda and out there performance captain from the batsmen.
They seem to play pretty well throughout the whole 40 overs. So yeah, with a big breeze, nothing more to it than that really.
No series win for you in the last 5 encounters in this format of the game. What have you been focusing on to change that outcome?
Oh, I think that we've just got to be a bit consistent. We played pretty well throughout the whole 40 overs. Really good cricket against, yeah, with a big breeze, just come up a bit short. We got off to a slow start more so than that really, and we're always chasing.
No series win for you in the last 5 encounters in this format of the game. What have you been focusing on to change that outcome?
Oh, I think that we've just got to be a bit consistent. We played pretty well throughout the whole. It's a great opportunity for cricket guys to come in with a big take their opportunity. We got off to a slow start more so young guys in. Ben Jones did his first game for a while.
In the last 5
encounters
encounters
in this format of the game. It's a great chance for them guys.
What have you been focusing on to play all the very best outcome? You'll get Nicholas Puran in here. Nicholas Puran, first off, congratulations on being the 12th T20 international captain for the West Indies. Tell me a little bit about your team. You picked a squad of 14 players out of the 11 today. What have you been focusing on to play all the very best outcome? Nicholas Puran in here. Nicholas Puran, first off,
couldn't use that. Fabian Allen is back as well.
the last series didn't go too well for the West Indies. What are your strategic objectives?
Find a way to win, and that's most important for us.
I'm sure the battling in that middle period of the game would have been the focus coming to the series. What steps were taken in that regard?
Practice was really good. Players spent time working on what they had to get out of practice. We are fortunate that we have 5 games here, and we are hoping to put that practice into the game, and hopefully we can do right things and the results will take care of itself.
All the very best to you. Go well. 2 confident captains out in the middle. Well, Australia, they win the toss and they bowl first.
Well, as you've heard from Darren Ganger, the Australian captain, Aaron Finch winning the toss and deciding to bowl. So it's going to be the West Indies who are going to take first knock in this game. And Julian Charles, welcome to you. This game of importance, as we said earlier, to both teams. The Australians coming out a number of their front line players, while the West Indies going to be continuing turning the players around, looking for the best combination. Allen is back, as you heard from the captain this evening, Nicholas Puran, as the regular captain, Kieran Pollard, having a bit of a niggle. So Allen is back from injury. Jason Holder has been rested due to some workload management. And the West Indies team, we can give you Nicholas Puran, the captain, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Fidel Edwards, Chris Gale, Shimron Hetmeyer, Evan Lewis, Obed McCoy, Andre Russell, Lyndall Simmons and Hayden Walsh Jr. The Australians, Aaron Finch captain, Matthew Wade, Mitchell Marsh, Josh Phillip, Moses Enrique, Ben McDermott, Dan Christian, Ashton Agar, Mitchell Stark and Adam Zampa. So that's the lineup for the Australians, and we say goodnight to you, Julian Charles, once more. Looking forward to this first matchup here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Very interesting. The Australians are in the Caribbean.
Yes, good night, Brian. Good night, listeners. It promises to be a very exciting evening here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. The Australians, as we know, are always very keen to do well, always giving off the best, always pressurizing teams, and the West Indies looking to restore some pride after the narrow series defeat against South Africa.
Yes, we notice now that the two teams are going to be introduced. Not too sure exactly who are going to be meeting them. We are some distance away, and good for our listeners to know that we are at a very difficult angle, almost like a 45-degree angle, because we're just away from the media center due to all the protocols that are in place in terms of the bubble and the restrictions on us. So we are really going to have to give you the best description possible as to what is actually happening out in the middle. So the players are actually being met, the Australians in a bright yellow and green, while the West Indians in the maroon established colors, and they're actually backing us and the officials as well. I'm sure we're going to be having the anthems and the various aspects of the ceremony that's really going to precede the start of this game. So any big surprises in the finals selection by the West Indies going into this first game?
Well, we're surprised that the captain is out, but we're told that it's for injury. He's going to be missed, of course. A very inspirational captain, and coming in the middle, he's a match winner. If it's his day, he's going to win a match for you. So this is a big blow for the West Indies. But Chris Gayle is back in the team, and we know what he can do. He likes this ground very much. I saw he destroyed England here. I think was it last year or year before. In a one-day international, and he's got T20, at least a T20 100 here, so we know what he's capable of, and Andrew Russell. But Ryan, I'm noticing the wicket look a bit green tonight, although we are a good distance away, but there seem to be some grass that's looking the kind of color the opening batsman may not be all that keen on.
Yes, we saw the two test matches here versus the South Africans. A lot of tinge of green on the track, which is, well, other people had actually expressed surprise that the West Indies winning the toss in the first test, they decided to bat first. But then that is history right now. It does look so maybe from this end, which is going to actually be the northern end at the Darren Sammy cricket ground, maybe some white coloration to maybe where right-hander over the wicket will be coming in. Does not know if that's an indication of any rain that might have been there or sawdust that have been applied. But as you said, a lot of tinge on the out in the middle. So it's going to be interesting to see how this wicket is going to play. You heard the Australian captain at the toss saying that it looks like a good wicket and they have decided they're going to bat first. And he also did mention that there were two warm-up games at this venue, probably as in St. Lucia's earlier as last weekend, and their preparation was slightly affected because they were looking to get some action in last Friday. But as you know, we had a threat of Hurricane Elsa around, and that put that off.
Yeah, yes, indeed, Ryan. But going back to the point about the wickets, the bowlers are going to like it. There is some bounce in it. I'm hoping that the batters will like it as well this time, because it's a T20 match. It should be rolled much flatter, and we're in to see some the exciting shots of cricket, which I always believe are the cut shots and the pull shots, and it should be a very interesting night of cricket.
Okay, so let's give an idea. The first warm-up game here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, it was a 22-over side between the Australians. They call themselves Australia 2 and Australia 1. Australia 2 got 195 for 6, with Marsh getting 56. That had 4 sixes that innings, just faced 28 balls. And you also had Turner, he got 45, and Australia 1. They had a reply of 193 for 5. So it was very competitive there. Christian getting 47, Reeks 36, and Josh Hazelwood, he was a bit expensive, and he had picked up 2 for 44 when his team bowled. And in the second warm-up game, they actually went into an orthodox 20-over match, T20. The Australia won 165 for 6, with Wade getting 52, Stark picking up 3 for 30, and Australia 2, when they batted, getting to 166 for 2, and Philip 67, and Henry 51. So the Australians, I'm sure, will be looking for maybe pass scores on this wicket, maybe about in the range of 160, 170. We noticed that in the games played in Grenada, between the West Indies and South Africa, it was a very consistent score between 160 and 170. But I'm sure both Australia and the West Indies will be looking to step it up.
Yes, indeed, Ryan. In the past, we've noticed scores of, well, 160 is always very competitive in a T20 match, 170. But on this Darren Sammy cricket ground pitch, we have seen 200 chased down before. The only thing you could think about is that could go against that is that we've had some rain last weekend. We had the hurricane, and we don't know how that would have affected the preparation of the ground, but the ground does look in immaculate condition, and we're hopeful that we see quite a few runs here this evening.
Yes, and Cricket West Indies just announcing a squad for this first game, and we are going to be on the lights at the Darren Sammy cricket ground. And as we told you, the West Indies looking to really get a much better showing, particularly from the batsmen, and the lead selector Roger Harper saying that they are really looking to improve in that area. And unfortunately, as you heard at the toss, the West Indies is going to be without the inspirational captain in Kieron Pollard, and the man leading the team today, Nicholas Pooran. So we're going to have the start very soon. The national anthem of St. Lucia currently being played. We are maybe about 80 yards away. Julian Charles, you would be more familiar with the size of the boundaries here at the Darren Sammy cricket ground. Don't think that the lights are really in full effect at this point in time. So if you're just joining us, reminding you that Australia, their captain Aaron Finch, won the toss and decided to bowl first.
Yes, yes, indeed. But as we speak, also the teams were just met by the Prime Minister of St. Lucian. There's the national anthem, St. Lucian national anthem, being played out, and everybody the players immaculately dressed, and the Prime Minister standing erect with a couple of other officials. We've got a decent crowd when you realize that only 600 people are allowed in there, so we probably have a couple hundred already, and the scene is set for what should be a memorable evening.
Yes, the West Indies squad, we're seeing, as I told you, the prospect of maybe a much better batting performance. Andre Fletcher has not been too much in the action since the start of the T20s versus the South Africans. He's left out again this evening. We also noticed that Sheldon Cottrell in the squad and not on this evening, as we told you earlier. The captain Kieron Pollard with a niggle not featuring in this game. But we're going to have a West Indies batting lineup, probably Simmons, Lewis, Gale, Hetmeyer, Pooran, the captain and wicketkeeper Bravo, Russell, Allen, Walsh, and Obed McCoy, who made such a great impression during the previous 5 games played in Grenada.
Yes, and the Australians will be depending heavily on Josh Hazelwood, the experienced Josh Hazelwood, to get into the West Indies batting. Of course, Michelle Stark is also there, both very competent and efficient bowlers, very experienced bowlers. And they've got the leg spinner in Adam Zampa, who is no stranger here, having played, I believe, I know he's played here, the CPL could well be for the Zooks, but we will double check on this. But he has been in the Caribbean region for a couple of years, and he's well used to the conditions here. And then we have the all-rounders in Ashton Edgar and Ben McDermott. And the captain, of course, they'll be depending heavily on Aaron Finch and Matthew Wade, both of whom have played tests on the international. So a very experienced Australian side coming here. When I last checked, nearly all of them were at least half the side was over 30 years, and only one person below 25.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Adam Zampa, because I think the last time he might have played major cricket here was the World T20 that was played in last time, was played in the Caribbean, and he did perform quite well for the Australians here at the Darren Sammy cricket ground. And he has really come on and has been around for some time. And he did mention about a couple of teams that he has played for, including the Ghana Amazon Warriors and the Jamaica Tallawahs. So he's very well known in the Caribbean. Born March 31st, 1992, from Shalaba, New South Wales, and has really been one of the leading bowlers for the Australians in this format of the game. A lot of people say that he is reminiscent of Shane Warne, and during the T20 World Cup in India 2016 had the most wickets as far as the Australians were concerned, taking 5 wickets during that T20 World Cup. So he's a man that's really going to be looked for, particularly with what had happened in the previous games against the South Africans, where both Linda and also Samsi played a very major part. So we're going to have more from you, Julian, as the Australians, they're taking their positions in the field, and we're going to have the West Indians coming to start their innings. We're going to have more from Julian Charles before we get the action as far as the actual play out in the middle with Joseph Reds Pereira.
Yes, as you said, Ryan, the Australians are taking the field. They're marking the run-ups. They getting into positions, always looking very keen. Of course, I always love the Australian spirit, very competitive, always looking to win, and very professional unit. The guys are ambling up, they're tossing the ball around, they generally very enthusiastic about what they are about. Michel Stark will be opening the bowling, doing his stretches. Very experienced player, as we just said. He's picked up, according to my records, 47 T20 international T20 wickets, and he goes as a very miserly average of 6.95. So Michel Stark will be opening the bowling from the corporate suite end and from the northern end. And I'd like to reintroduce Alan Reds Pereira.
Well, start of a new series, the 2020 against the South Africans have gone. The test matches have gone against South Africa and the West Indies and Australia battling here. 26 matches played in this ground, 13 won by the West Indies, 13 won by the opposition. So it's all square. But you think that, Julian, that at home you should be maybe ahead.
Reds and the West Indian players would have had some experience here of late. As we know, in the Caribbean, we're all from different islands, so the home advantage sometimes don't really hold true. But there's for camp for a month, and they've been back here for the better part of a week, so they should be used to the conditions.
So everyone taking the knee, and there was someone in the Australian party, Dan Christian, who has got an Aboriginal background, and he has really been the one requesting, suggesting and motivating the Australians to join the international world with the knee. So Dan Christian will be very happy tonight, but he'll be happy if he has a good game. So the West Indies without their captain, and at this time there was a consideration maybe to allow Andre Fletcher to keep and allow Puran to be at mid-off and mid-on.
Yes, indeed.
So it's going to be the experienced Stark, and runs away from us, comes in and bowls to Simmons. Simmons drives it very nicely in the V, in which he needs to play a little more. Remembering the last shot he got out against South Africa, there are some 600 tickets sold, and the 2 jabs and of course your ID got those people in. I'm told also, Julian, that there are 6 boxes that we can't see that will be occupied. Say 650 tonight.
Yes, Reds, and well, it means that we had capacity based on what we allowed.
Well, I don't believe that the boxes were included. They're watching Stark, who runs away from us, to Simmons. Simmons driving at that, playing across the line, hit the inner part of the bat, but stayed down, went straight to mid-wicket. West Indies will want a good start, but they just need maybe to get a feel of the track, a feel of the bat, and you don't want too many cross-batted shots in the first over.
Yes, Red, but by its very nature, that's what 220 is about. It's just 120 balls to go, and 2 have already been bowled. So Simmons will be looking to punish whatever he deems that's in his area, and maybe playing at the back of the mind too, Reds, would be the fact that there was quite a lot of short pitch bowling, but so far Mitchell Stark against the South Africans, but Mr. Stark have pitched the ball.
Stark once more comes in to Simmons. Simmons beaten outside the line of the off stump. There's no slip. With Matthew Wade standing back. Well, you talked about 2 dot balls, but a batsman in the last 2 can play catch-up. I mean, if at the end of the last over, if you're 6 runs on the board, you should be quite happy after the first over.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Reds. But we just saw interesting field placement there in the slip just came off, meaning that Stark will really be looking to pitch that ball up as much as possible.
Stark with a big number 6, 56 in his back, nice easy rhythm, comes up now to Simmons getting an outside edge and having, of course, no slip in this kind of format, no gully. Lucky shot there by Simmons on the board. I suppose he's backing up our point to be ahead of the game at the end of the over. It's 4 without loss. Simmons is 4. And Stark may feel I was a little unlucky.
Yes, I guess it's the shortened version of the game, so you really don't know what to do. Really, if you're going to pitch the ball, contrary to what I just said, you really need your slips to back you up. But he's elected to strengthen the offside field. Going to be, well, certainly doesn't want to be hit for the offside.
So Stark, on the edge of the circle, he gets there very quickly, comes into Simmons, and Simmons driving a much better looking shot and a beautiful shot going through square cover. Got pitched up, he got to the pitch, worked the wrist nicely, a nice pairing shot, much better than the shot he got off the mark with as he moves to 8. And the West Indies, of course, sent it to bat, are 8 without loss. And let's again say to our listeners who have just joined us, the West Indies captain Pollard had to pull out because of injury.
Yes, but beautiful cover drive there by Simmons, just getting to the pitch of the ball and easing it past the cover point fielder.
He taps away as Stark goes in to the right-hander and covers up and playing straight, playing with respect along the lines. So that's the end of the opening over. It's a 20-20 game. It's going to go very quickly indeed at the end of that over. 8 without loss, all to Simmons and Evan Lewis looking forward to his first bat.
Yes, but very good over by Mitchell Stark, the experienced bowler that he is, just pitching the ball up, making sure that he doesn't try anything too extravagant. We saw no short pitch balls during this over. Just keeping to the team plan, one would think, as he tries to defend the offside. So nothing down the leg side, just everything on a nice length outside the off stump.
So the attack coming from the Kamangéen, the Players Pavilion, you have it what you may. The David Hooks, the late, had a stand just behind that far side. And it's going to be Hazelwood starting from the top end. Nice tall, bolt comes in quicker, and that's off the back foot and beaten for pace there. Lewis was halfway through the shot as he got onto the back foot, looking to hit it square, and then went past him like a whiz.
Yes, and the keeper had been taking it well above his chest. Very good delivery indeed. A bit of zip in this one.
Hazelwood from the state of New South Wales. The state has produced many great cricketers, both with the bat and the ball. Now coming in, he has a quicker approach than Stark as he goes in that short and pulled away, and that's the top edge and could be caught at mid-wicket. He is out. Looking to pull at that. It is his strong point, but sometimes the strong point can get you into trouble, and has just got the West Indies and Lewis into trouble. Short, he went to hit it, I think initially dunked a backward square, but that might have just come on a little quicker to him, and it ended up off a leading edge, a top edge, and caught down on mid-wicket. So the West Indies are 8 for 1 in the second over.
Yeah, big blow for the West Indies team. As we know, Lewis can take a bowling apart, especially a short pitch bowling, but this one came up came to him very quickly. He was pulling it from the outside the off stump and trying to hit it over mid wicket, and a good running catch. The fielder anticipating it very, very early and taking a good running catch to his left. So a tremendous blow for the West Indies Reds. Lewis, of course, one of the top T20 players in the world.
The catcher is Mitchell Marsh, and of course the wind was taking it away, so he was running into the Johnson Charles stand with a nice smattering of spectators around, and took a very good catch. So West Indies are 8 for 1, and Hazelwood quite early in the piece has picked up a wicket after 2 balls. The first shorter format of the game was played in Australia in 1974 when 4 days of a test match was washed out, and Australia and England played a 40 over at Melbourne many years ago. Hazelwood bowls, nice looking shot off the back foot. Good comfortable shot there by Simmons. It did cross, but when he is playing orthodox cricket, when he can play shots to beat the field without going across the line, he really looks a top order opener.
Yes, indeed, Reds. Well, he's a very good player. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, for a couple of years, for no reason at all, he wasn't selected. There was all sorts of reasons for that, but he's playing now facing Hazelwood, and he goes back and tucks it out to the onside. Good shot. He's turning the wrist nicely. Total remains an 8 for 1. You were saying that the West Indies need somewhere around 160.
Yes, indeed. But losing this first wicket will really put them on the back foot now. Simmons may not play with the kind of freedom that he would have ordinarily played with. Reds, Hazelwood just pulling back the length as compared to Stack and getting immediate success.
Yes, Hazelwood back into Simmons, 8 for 1. Simmons to this delivery is looking to get a delivery that kept low and playing off the back foot, and that didn't quite measure up to Ken Crafton track. Definitely kept a little low.
Kept a little low outside the off stump. Kind of a loose shot, one would think, because it was quite wide. I'm surprised it was not called wide by the umpire, but this one going through about half stump or 3/4 stump high.
You have carrot eyes, because if you can tell me from here that should have been called, you're good, Julian. It wasn't. It's 8 for 1. It's still Hazelwood from the state of New South Wales, coming very quickly in. The tall Australian bowler turned it away. A nicely looking shot down to backward square. They will just get one as the strike is rotated, and Hazelwood just looking at the area where he landed as the over is completed. And we can tell you the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground is the West Indies sent into bat a 9 for 1.
Bro, did you know that if you switch to LED lighting throughout your home, that you could save as much as 80% on your lighting costs?
Yes, man.
And did you know, you knew that?
Of course, I also know that with using LED lights, I get brighter lighting that lasts longer and is better for the environment too. And by choosing my LED lights from Caribbean LED, I get up to 3 years warranty.
Wow, you know very much.
I hear all the ads on radio for Caribbean LED. Call them and ask at 621-0092 or visit them in Torres State or Wildy if you don't believe me.
Ashton Agard is about to come into the attack. The tall South Australian who made his debut against England didn't star with the ball, but almost got a test 100 in that test match. It was a marvelous day for him, a day that he remember for a very long time. But he's going to replace Stark. Stark has gone off after 1 over. So Hazelwood 1 for 1, good figures. And Ashton Agent is tall left-hander. Started with a full head of hair. That's gone like many of us. Wind is up. You can see that blowing the shorts of Edgard as he comes in and looking to play across the line, looking to, as the ball came in, an arm ball, and maybe a little close to him to look to play that shot.
Yes, indeed, and very first ball really, ball just cutting back into the batsman.
Very wily, not a big spin of the ball, but a great placement. That's short, and Simmons might feel like he should have banged that away through backward point. Dot ball, And dot balls against South Africa was very, very disturbing. A guard moves past the umpire and he pushes, edges. He might say, I played that stroke properly. It goes down towards a third man position. They're back for the second, but on the front foot as it goes to 11 without loss, but playing far away from the line.
Yes, just having to push, just pushing the bat at it. As we said, it's a wonder game, so he's trying to maximize his scoring, just playing away from the body, but just pushing it down.
He's gone to 11. The total is 11. He's 11 for 1. A guard balls and going back and in two minds, and it jumped at him slightly. You might have been surprised by that. It kicked at him, but there's no short cover, and it fell quite far away from the cover. So we've had some indifferent bunks. We've had one that kept low, and one that just jumped a bit. Simmons just trying to compose himself. Julian Charles.
Yes, variation, but that's expected. And Simmons, as you said, I think he made the right adjustment, and this time just pulling the bottom hand away.
He settles once more as they guard balls, and again looking to turn it away. Again, he's not successful with that shot, but that was a missing leg, and he felt that it was a little back of a length for him to turn it towards square leg to pick up runs. He did not. It stays on 11. The total is 11, and Igard, the third bowler, being brought into the attack. A big appeal as he pushed forward. Wade, the keeper, not supporting by Igard, and that's the end of the third over. This is a 20-20 game, and after 3 overs, 11 for 1. The West Indies are slightly behind the rate, or more than slightly.
Yes, we've only seen 3 runs in the last 2 overs, so the Australians are really enjoying it out there. The leg spinner getting the ball to drift back into the right-handed Simmons and not giving him any room at all. And of course, there was just some indifferent bounce that kept Simmons in check.
From the selector's point of view, Gale needs to have a good performance in the series here. He needs to have a good performance tonight for starters, because he struggled against Sri Lanka, he struggled against the South Africans, but I think he is maybe better suited for the kind of Australian attack.
Yes, indeed. He loves the ball coming onto the bat, and it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens now.
So Hazelwood to bowl to the experienced Gale, and Gale just covering up, just outside the line of the off stump, just inch forward, just concentrating on getting bat to ball. Hazelwood walking back. Australia without a number of stars, but it's an opportunity for all the players who have replaced them to, try and make their mark for the World Cup.
Yes, indeed. There is yep.
As Hazelwood turns, crowd still coming in. We expect over 600 with 6 boxes. Hazelwood bowls, and he offers a very quick signal that was really not on. Was a reflex action by Gale as he went back, played it towards gully, started off a couple of steps, and Simmons was unmoved at the non-striker's end.
Yeah, and as we noticed, the West Indies is not playing with the kind of freedom one would expect in a T20 game, and the body language out there so far is not the best in terms of them not looking to dominate.
Well, they're coming off a thrashing, not a thrashing, but they lost a series against South Africa, so they need to get runs on the board, and that will come across, and no runs coming there. That came in as he pushed forward, ball coming off the seam. So already the West Indies bogged down. We are in the 4th over, 11 for 1. A little long-distance conference between Simmons and Gale. And the whole debate goes on in the Caribbean on social media, whether the selectors should move away from Gale and give an opportunity to others. Gale can have an answer tonight as Hazelwood bowls, and that's outside the off stump, and taken by Wade, Matthew Wade. Matthew Wade probably would not have been carrying the gloves if everyone was available, but that's all history. A lot of cricket being played now. We have a Zimbabwe test match going on. Pakistan are in England. The West Indies are playing Pakistan women and doing very well. Congratulations to Captain Taylor, as Hazelwood gets to the top of his mark. Gale is yet to score, 11 for 1. And Hazelwood is on his way as he passes the umpire, balls to Gale, and Gale edges that. Well, almost edges that, I should say. Beaten outside the line of the off stump. Very unconvincing shot, and Gale has not settled at all.
Brilliant, beautiful ball by Hazelwood. Runs in, really nice to watch coming in, seeing him running in rhythmically. And that one just touching down on middle stump and going across Gale. Luckily for him, he did not get a touch.
Over number 4, 11 for 1. Gale will have to dive with his boots on. He's got to look to play shots as Hazelwood goes in. And again, down the leg side and taken by the keeper. We have had now 4 overs gone. Ryan O'Brien will soon be joining you. And the West Indies off to a very slow start, a very good start. Hazelwood now 2 overs, 1 made 1 for 1. Ashton Agard had 1 over and conceded 2 runs.
Yes, West Indies off to the kind of start you really don't want to. In a T20 game, you want to dominate, you want to put a good score on the board, especially in the power play overs. But at the same time, they've got 2 very experienced heads out there, Chris Gale and Simmons, and if they could get themselves settled in and get used to the pace of the wicket, then we know we're in for some fireworks.
Agard from South Australia. The one of the Chapels that's short and pull well away with the wind, and that carries way over the boundary, a good 15 meters beyond the boundary, and just hitting the bottom of the concrete area. So a good comeback with the West Indies really wanting to get some runs on the board, and Simmons has found the boundary. He is also scored everything, 17 for 1. He is 17, and Agard doing battle once more. And he goes back and hits it. I thought for a moment it might have carried down towards Stark at the mid-on. It dropped well short, but he was certainly very positive on that occasion. He was just back of a length.
Yes, indeed. A very experienced cricketer playing his 33rd match for Australia.
Good work there, Julian. He bowls, quicker delivery, flicked away. Gale is really breaking every world record he has done lately. Gets down at the other end, chipping, but doing the job to get there. He saw the opportunity, and the strike is rotated finally as Simmons goes to 18 for 1. And Chris Gale now, who has had some 6 deliveries, now needs to try and free himself. But in making that decision to put runs on board, he doesn't want to throw his wicket away.
No, not indeed, right. And this quick single was a lot quicker and more efficient than the somersault we saw in the celebration.
Yes, he got, I think, 1.5 points for that. Okay, so pressure on Gale. 6 deliveries, not very often he has had 6 deliveries against Australia and has not gotten off the mark. Good evening to all, from Jamaica all the way down to Guyana, through the leewards and through the windwards. Trinidad and Tobago, Gale is forward, pushes up towards a square leg umpire, starts for a single. It's not there, but it's just a movement after playing the shot. Gale has now faced 7 deliveries, he's still a knot. The pressure is on. Simmons is going quite well, 18 off 19 balls. Gale is cutting that away, and it hit hard into the ground, goes over the head of the cover and down to the boundary for 4. What that should do is confidence a great deal of good. That should really make him feel, I've just broken through. He's 4, 22 for 1, and hit hard into the ground off the back foot, and that certainly helped.
Yes, indeed, Reg. There's nothing as sweet as getting the ball off the middle of your bat.
So it's 1 for 22. Agard goes in, and Gale is looking to drive at that. Just for a moment, it was going back to his bowler. That's the end of over number 5. At the end of over number 5, it's 22 for 1. And we'll have Ryan O'Brien, but let me say the latest score at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, West Indies are 22 for 1.
C-R-O.
what you doing?
Practicing how to say hello in Italian so I can go impress the folks at Caribbean LED.
You mean because they have the new Fumagale range of lighting fixtures, ideal for outdoor use, especially for homes like ours in the tropics, affected by constant sunlight and sea spray?
Fumagale.
Alright you, head to the store at Wildy. I will go to the Laura Estate location on my way home. Oh, and it's not Ciao, it's pronounced Chow.
Wait, it's Chow?
We're back here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. We're going to see this other over number 6. This one is a short delivery outside the off stump, and Lendl Simmons looking to make some way to cut that one, maybe somewhere over third man. Doesn't make contact and goes through to wicketkeeper away. So it's 22 for 1. We're at the start of over number 6. Lendl Simmons is on 18, and he's been there since the start. 18 from 20 balls. And with it now, Chris Gayle as the West Indies losing the first wicket. There's 8 runs on the board. Evan Lewis caught by Marsh after bowling of Hazelwood without scoring. And it's going to be Hazelwood continuing again. He's on the back foot looking to cut square. And in the end, having to really come across his crease and looking to prevent that from crashing into his stumps. And luckily for him there, Julian Charles, he was quite alert and was able to ensure that it didn't go into his stumps.
Yes, indeed, Ryan. But Simmons looking to step up on it, is looking very aggressive right now, and very much aggressive as the bowler, because Hazelwood has been running in and really hammering the ball 3/4 ways down the pitch, and really trying to put some pressure on the battling Simmons.
Yes, well, the Australians making an adjustment to the field. It's having the third man, Mitchell Stark coming in just inside the circle at third man. And this one is short, looking to pull it down the onside and maybe getting a bit too close to it and just coming off the thigh. And it brings Wade from behind the stump to pick up. So the Australians keeping the pressure on the West Indies and really keeping the scoring 22 for 1. The West Indies haven't been sent in. The current run rate at 4 so far, an over, and certainly a very good start by the Australians. We're into over number 6, being bowled by Josh Hazelwood. 1 wicket to Radios, and this one is short on this occasion. He makes contact and down to the long leg fielder who comes off the boundaries, rifles the return back into Wade, who takes it cleanly. So the single taken and completed. So 1 more to Simmons. He's on 19. Gayle, the left-hander, who's under some pressure to get some runs here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, and particularly I'm sure in this series, he's on 4, and he's faced 9 balls so far, and just a 1 boundary to his name. Simmons has 2 boundaries so far in this innings, and this is the left-handed Gayle who is going to face up to Josh Hazelwood in his 3rd over. And he's got 1 for 2. Very economical spell so far. This one delivered to Gayle, looking to work it down the leg side. Doesn't make contact. Wade doesn't really take it that cleanly. And the ball just coming off the turf. The return going in. And now we see the signal coming from the umpire. Wide being called. And we say good evening for the first time to Greg Wilson.
Yes, good evening, Ryan, and good evening to all listeners. The Australian bowlers certainly are keeping things very tight. Josh Hazelwood in particular, really in the midst of a very good spell. Some 2.4 overs so far and only conceding 3 runs.
So we saw that Hazelwood just straying in a line and giving the extras to the West Indies. 1 without wide, and Hazelwood is short. And Gayle looking to pull, doesn't get clean. He will be out, yes, at a kind of short 3rd man position. So there were ringer fielders in the circle. No one down really on the deep 3rd man boundary, keeping the pressure in, especially at this start. It's so early in the game, and Gayle looking to pull, and the catch being completed, and Gayle goes, and he has gone disappointing once more, and the Australians celebrating Hazelwood getting his 2nd wicket, and Gayle looking to pull, the catch being completed, and so far it's Agar coming off with a catch there, and Chris Gayle going for 4 of just 10 balls.
Yes, Chris Gayle really struggling out in the middle, but again good tight consistent bowling there from from Josh Hazelwood on this occasion. This one back up and length. Chris Gill looking to pull this one through the mid wicket, but I felt Brian, he sort of lost the grip on the bat and just ball peeling off the edge of the bat and providing a relatively easy catch for Agar right inside the 30-yard circle.
Well, the pressure really was on for the West Indies, losing the second wicket now with the score just 24, and already the West Indies being pegged back and the pressure telling there on Chris Gill.
Yes, certainly the pressure was telling on Gill. We know Gill of late has been a slow starter, but we could have seen that he was really struggling a bit out in the middle and really wanted to get things going, but unfortunately he perished in the process.
So it's going to be Hazelwood, who really, with his tail up, 2 wickets for 3 runs, really dream figures, Greg Wilson.
Yes, he's certainly using the conditions out there to really good effect and really has pegged back the West Indies battering.
Yes, and Hazelwood is going to bowl his final delivery in the third over this time. The new batsman Headmight is coming across, looking to play it in the offside, and the over coming to another successful over for the Australians. Hazelwood picking up another wicket, that of Gill, caught by Agar for 4. That's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
It's a super sale now on at CaribbeanLEDlighting.com. Shop online and find the fixtures you're looking for at super low prices. Get flush mounts, wall mounts, vanity lights, pendants, and even chandeliers, all now on sale. Reap the savings on the perfect accessories to style or restyle your home inside or out. Log on to CaribbeanLEDlighting.com for the super sale now on.
Caribbean LED Lighting. Look on the brighter side.
We welcome you back at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, and we remind you that the Australians, they won the toss and they decided they were going to bowl first at the West Indies, and really a good decision so far. Julian Charles 24 for 2, and really a good start by them, with Hazelwood really showing his class, 2 for 3 of his 3 overs so far.
Yes, West Indies really were pegged back in the power play overs.
Yes, and we're going to see Zampa starting from the northern end here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. This first delivery displayed into the onside. They get an easy single, and Simmons moves to 20 and score up to 25 for the loss of 2. The West Indies losing 2 wickets already so far in their innings, and I'm sure they'll be really looking for some sort of solid consolidation, not just to stick around, but maybe to get the dot balls out of the way, keep the scoreboard ticking, and try to really get a decent partnership here for the third wicket. This one is driven into the offside and down to the deep extra cover position, and the fielder just coming off the boundary there, getting the return back in, and just 1 run already completed. That's Agar coming off the deep mid-wicket position, and 1 more run. So we have Zampa continuing from the northern end here, the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. This one is full and driven down to a long off by Simmons. The fielder down there coming off the boundary. Mitchell Stark sending a strong left-handed return back up to the keeper's end, but couldn't prevent the single, and the score up to 27 for the loss of 2 in over number 7. Zampa right arm over the wicket. This delivery is on the back for the loud appeal, and this one will wait for the signal from the umpire. No signal coming thus far. Maybe just 1 run. Maybe thinking that it might was a bit late in playing that one, Greg Wilson?
Yes, a bit late, but it's obvious that he got some bats in there. There was no signal by the umpire.
Well, living dangerously there. We got 1 more run on the board to Edmire. He moves up to 2. And Zampa getting through his over rather quickly. Right arm over the wicket, is on the back foot cutting, but can't beat point. There was Lendl Simmons straight to the fielder, and a return rifled into the keeper, Matthew Wade. So the Australians continuing to keep it tight. We're almost about to end over number 7, 28 for 2 on the board. Partnership 4, And this one is a delivery that's well pitched up. Looks to get it down the widest long on reach and goes all the way for 6, just in front of our commentary position. Using his feet, getting to the pitch of the delivery, or maybe just picking it up on the half volley. Good shot there by Simmons. Good use of his feet. And he moves up to 27 as the over comes to an end. 34 for 2, the West Indies.
Yes, the end of a good productive over there for the West Indies. Sampa in his very first over. Bit expensive in the context of the game, but well executed shot there by Lindell Simmons, getting close to the pitch of the ball and just playing the lofted drive well over the boundary for 6.
So Aaron Finch winning the toss today, calling correctly, deciding he's going to bowl first. Aaron Finch, the captain of the Australian squad. Matthew Wade, Mitchell March, Josh Phillip, Moses Ulrich, Ben McDermott, Dan Christian, Ashton Agar, Mitchell Stark, Adam Zampa. The West Indies today being led by Nicholas Pooran, a niggling injury to Kyron Pollard. We heard at the toss. Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Fidel Edwards, Chris Gale, Shimon Meyer, Evan Lewis, Obed McCoy, Andre Russell, Landon Simmons, and Hayden Walls Jr., who comes back into the squad. And so too is young Fabian Allen, who we saw coming off in one of the latter games of the previous series versus South Africans, but he's back in the West Indies lineup today, and certainly they'll be looking for a great impact from him. This one is just played straight to mid-wicket by Hetmeyer, just coming across his stumps. The fielder just quickly coming to his left and preventing any possibility of a run, rifling a return back into Wade. And the score remaining on 34 for the loss of 2. We're into over number 8 in this T20 International between the West Indies and Australia here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, the first of the 5-match series. And it's Marsh who will be operating from the southern end, passing the umpire now. Right arm over the wicket, it worked off the pad by Hetmeyer down to long leg. And the fielder just coming off the boundary there, Mitchell Stark, gets a return in, and they complete the single. 35 now for the loss of 2, the West Indies, and it's been Hazelwood's evening so far. 3 overs, 1 maiden, 3 runs, 2 wickets.
Yes, certainly very impressive figure there by Josh Hazelwood.
And he's really going to enjoy the fact that his initial burst has given the Australians the luxury to bring Marsh in to replace him. He was already just bowled 2 deliveries so far in his spell. He's bowling to Simmons now. He's looking to guide that one, a very loose shot, guiding it straight to the keeper. Straightforward catch taken by Wade. A very easy, nothing shot presented there by Simmons. Really disappointing. But we're just looking to guide it somewhere down to the third man region, and it must have been a very, very straightforward edge straight to the keeper. He didn't even have to move 2 steps.
Yes, very disappointing into the innings of Lindell Simmons. It's almost as if he was given catching practice just before the commencement of the game. This is the sort of catches that you would see they give to the keepers at the warm-up stage. So very disappointing end to Lindell Simmons in an immediate success for Marsh being introduced into the attack.
Yeah, so it's going to place additional pressure on the West Indies batting lineup. It's Nicholas Pooran, the man who's leading the West Indians for this game with the absence of Kyron Pollard, and he really struggled in the previous series against the South Africans, Greg Wilson. And let's see how much he can step up this evening and present some good batting here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, because it's actually Lewis, the opener. He was the main stay of the West Indies batting in the previous series. 5 matches, 178 runs. With a high score of 71. Pooran really struggled. 5 matches, 71 runs with a high score of 26.
Yes, he certainly struggled in the series versus South Africa, but hey, it's a different series, different team, and he has the responsibility of leading the team as captain, so hopefully one would want him to play a captain's knock this evening.
Definitely. We must also speak about the discipline of the Australians. This one is hit square. The fielder just coming off the deep extra cover boundary, sends a return, just 1 bounce into it. He does well, takes it, and just driving himself a few steps back, and taking it on the bounce. and it gets Puran off the mark and brings Sherman Hetmyer, who is on a 3, back into strike. Hetmyer just facing 5 deliveries so far, but I'm sure he'll be looking to step it up now. The West Indies under some pressure. We're into the 8th over, 36 for 3 on the board. It's Marsh, 2 deliveries, evidence. First one is down the leg side, call wide now, 2 by the umpire, and this one is forcing Wade to move just across to his right. Just as I spoke about the discipline of the Australians, we have seen the second wide of the innings being bowled.
Yes, but the second wide, but as you did indicate, Ryan, they have been disciplined enough in the 7 overs completed so far. How many extras? You're only looking at just 2 extras.
Yes, so relatively speaking, they would be satisfied as T20 internationals go. This delivery is played back up the track, showing the full face of the bat was Hetmyer, but can't beat the bowler Marsh in his follow through, and the score staying on 37 for 3. So what would be the strategy of the West Indies now? We've almost completed the 8th over, 37 runs on the board, and the 3 of their leading batsmen back in the pavilion. We're going to wait for that response from Greg Wilson as Marsh is in this one is short and looking to really force it on the onside down to long leg. Marsh, which is Stark, is there, sends a return a bit uncomfortable to it, but he does well in the end to collect it. So at the end of over number 8, West Indies sent into bat 38 for 3. So it's going to be the partnership. Let's see how it's going to continue building for the West Indies. Just 3 runs, and they haven't been able to build any partnerships so far. The West Indies losing wickets at regular interval.
Yes, and once you're losing wickets at regular interval, it's always difficult to really build a partnership. But these two, a lot would be dependent on them. Just 12 overs remaining in this innings, so one would hope that they can get competitive score.
So they had wickets falling at 8, 24 and 35, so nothing really to shout about as we see change in bowling. Dan Christian is in from the northern end. This one is played up on the onside but can't beat the man at the orthodox wideish mid-on position, rifling a return back into the keeper. So the Australians staying on the toes, maintaining the very high standard of feeling that they're known for. So the Australian captain Aaron Finch there just coming across, preventing the single and rifling a return back into Wade, back up at the keeper's end, keeping both batsmen at the respective creases. 38 for the loss of 3. Hetmyer waits for Dan Christian over the wicket. This one is played into the onside, a bit uppish, but there's no one at the orthodox mid wicket. The field having to come off the boundary, and he does so quickly too, and just limits the batsman to just 1. So Hetmyer moves to 5, and Puran, who is on 1, will now come into strike. So the boundaries have been few and far between. Simmons having 2 in his innings and 1 to Gale. But apart from that, the remainder of the West Indies batting really finding it difficult to get boundaries here at this stage. We see Christian turning once more. Was halfway into his first over, just waiting a bit as the batsman Puran just making an adjustment to his gloves.
Yes, Christian into his first over, and he's been bowling a decent line already. So you see the discipline continues with every bowler that has been introduced into the attack.
Yes, and they've really been able to really exploit whatever life has been out there in this track here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground this evening. This one is a delivery is standing up and getting well behind it. As Puran plays it off the meaty part of the bat, but can't beat the extra cover, who moves quickly to his right, preventing any possibility of a run. The Australians on their toes and continuing to give good support to their bowlers and preventing any run there, moving quickly to his right and preventing any run there. West Indies 39 for 3. This one is just an attempted play off the pad. We'll have to wait from the umpire to see if there's any bat in it. Wade really moving quickly from behind the stumps and very quickly. So now the signal comes, just a leg by, and the keeper really moving quickly, and the Australians showing a very high standard of feeling.
Yes, very high standard indeed. Good anticipation there by Wade. As soon as the ball came off the pad of Puran, immediately we saw he took off the gloves and he took off after the ball and certainly restricted the West Indies batsmen to just one run.
So it's going to be Christian, quite a long run. He's not really completing his overs as quickly as we saw from Stark and Hazelwood, not even to mention the spinners Agar and Zampa. But he is continuing from the Northern. His fifth delivery in his first over. This one is worked off the pad this occasion. They get the single again as Wade has to move from behind the stumps again, another leg by. So the West Indians will have to take them whatever way they can. And we've now seen the extras going up to 4 2-leg buys being registered 41 for 3. They will need to take them anyhow they come, Greg Wills.
Yes, certainly. Like they say, Ryan, beggars are not choosers. So at this point in time, they're taking it whichever way it comes. But certainly they would need a few more runs than just a few singles leg buys here and there.
Definitely they will. And they've really got to take everything they can get. Every run will count, particularly that they're not really known for getting the singles and rotating the strikes. This one is played up into the onside. The single will be there easily as a fielder coming off from the deep mid-wicket boundary. And the over finally coming to an end from Dan Christian. 42 for the loss of 3. The West Indies being sent in here to Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Old-time bakers in Bim bake from home. Remember the Dutch oven made of stone? Then came the bread cart. Oh, you could smell that bread a mile away. And then there was the bread van. Many have made a living selling from them. Now, your bread is as close to your home as you can get it, because there's sure to be a Crumbs bakery near you for a wide variety of fresh cakes, pastries, and bread.
Crumbs, so good, even down to the last crumb.
So it's going to be Mitchell Mark who will continue from the southern end here to Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. If you're just joining us, the Australians winning the toss in his first T20 International between the West Indies and Australia. They decided to bowl first. This one is driven off the inner portion of the bat. No control, and it goes back up the wicket. The bowler in his follow-through fields. Marsh, he's into his second over. And Nicholas Pooran under pressure to get some runs. He's leading the West Indies today. And they're just behind it a bit. We're into the 10th over. The current run rate 4.58. They'll be looking and definitely needing to step it up. And this one is worked off the pad down to a long leg. And again, we have the fielder coming off the boundary. The left-handed opening bowler, Mitchell Stark, getting it back up to the keeper. So boundaries have been very few and far between.
Yes, certainly few and far between. We're into the 10th over, and West Indies have only struck some 4 boundaries. Some 2 4s and 2 6s.
Here is bowler once more, and this time his one is down to the squarish point region. They'll get a single. So even when they do get the ball out of the square, Greg Wilson, they've been restricted to just 1 and maybe sometimes 2. And it's really been tough going as Mitchell Mark keeping a very tight line there on the off stump, and just a single there to admire. And he moves up to 6, and Pooran, who is on 3, comes into strike.
Yes, certainly the Australian bowlers have really been bowling in good areas, making the batting tough for West Indies.
Marsh into his second over. This one is short. He's pulling. This one is down to the deep mid-wicket area. The fielder just coming across to his left, just couldn't get it, bouncing just in front of him and going in to the deep mid-wicket boundary. So fortune favouring the brave there on that occasion, looking to pull. There was Pooran, and in the end succeeding in getting a boundary.
Yes, good shot there by Nicholas Pooran. On this occasion, Mas was just slightly short, and Pooran getting the position very quickly. But it must be said that Ryan, it was well bisected, the 2 fielders. It was a valiant effort to try to stop it.
It looks like Agar was really running across and couldn't really get to it. Really a valiant effort. This is a diving attempt to pull off a catch at the kind of widest point region, slashing outside the off stump, getting contact in the air almost halfway to the boundary, but in the end not able to hold on to it. So Pooran is deciding he's going to go after it. The 50 coming up in 61 deliveries of 44 minutes with 5 4s and 2 6s.
Yes, a flurry of boundaries in the last 2 deliveries there by the captain Nicholas Pooran.
Yes, so he's deciding he's going to really step it up. And this delivery is driving, just get off the bottom of the bat. The fielder coming off the deep point boundary is traveling quickly to him. And one run is all there'll be. And that takes the West Indies up to 53 for 3. So that over providing the West Indies with an opportunity to really get some runs on the board. We'll have more from Greg Wilson as we've had 10 overs completed. 53 for 3, that's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Yes, a good productive over there for the West Indies. Some 11 runs coming off this last over. In the process, they brought off the half century. So in the last 10 overs, the West Indies will certainly need to pick up the scoring rate. The rate has gone up to 5.3 after 10. So the last 10, they certainly will need to pick up the pace, Redsborough.
After the first 5, it is 22 for 1. A slight improvement, something like 39 runs coming off the next 5, but the West Indies way behind the rate as the leg spinner Zampa, who of course is well known in the Caribbean, bowls outside the leg stump, and Hetmeyer doing a Hetmeyer goes for a wild swing outside the line of the off stump. Have a look, see what the ball is bouncing, how it's turning. Not a good start by Hetmeyer.
As I said, the shorter version, it's true you've got to think about it, but really don't have much time to try to get the runs on the board.
Julian, you're a priest. You're forgiving everything. Zampa balls, covering up, and really should have been forward to that. Got the leg totally wrong. The West Indies are 3 for 53. This is over number 11.
I think it's actually Puran on strike.
Beg your pardon? Yes, Puran just misjudging the length on that occasion. So Puran is 12. At by 8, 3 for 53 in over number 11. And Zampa, who's played for a number of franchises in the Caribbean, that's outside the leg stump and swept away well. There's runs here for the West Indies. You can start counting that now, Miss Edwards, as it goes into her book, and the total goes up to 57 for 3. Big effort here by Puran to push things on as he moves up to 18. Hetmeyer 3, and the West Indies making an effort.
Yeah, very bad delivery by Zampa, well swept away.
Puran waits, Zampa goes in. Quicker delivery, just getting into his wicket and pushing up in the offside. The bowler feeling himself, has a little walk around. Zampa has been in and out, but he has been able to maintain his place as an Australian spinner. Short man with a long hairstyle, tossing the ball from hand to hand very confidently as he moves into Puran, who was on 18, 3 for 57. Puran is back and slapping that. A short delivery down towards long on, a shot in anger there, but maybe he didn't getting exactly where he wanted it into the middle, maybe looking to hit it a little squarer through cover. So he settled for the single, he goes to 17. It's 3 for 58, Hetmeyer 6, and aggressive intention.
Yes, indeed, Reds has no choice at the moment, as we said.
As Zampa, and getting to the pitch, clipping it away. Good batting here, looking belatedly for the second. Not good running here by the West Indies. It was an afterthought by Hetmeyer to turn very quickly. Had to settle for the single. We have had, 11 overs completed. After 11 overs, the West Indies are 3 for 51. They were sent into bat. Simmons caught Wade, bowled Marsh, 27 of 28 balls. Lewis caught Marsh, bowled Hazelwood, no score, 2 balls. Gale caught Agard, bowled Hazelwood for 4. He faced 10 balls. Hetmeyer and Puran, who so much has been written about. There's so much hope about these young men. You go back to 2 young men in Lawrence Rowe and Alvin Kadishura, and they started in 72, 73. And by the time they got to Australia in 75, they were scoring hundreds in the opening game at Brisbane. They certainly, produce what was expected of their talent.
Yes, indeed, Reds. But at the moment, West Indies really in a tussle. I think West Indies gradually getting out of the bad hole that they're in.
It's Stark coming back to the attack and bowling from the far end, nicely driven, purposefully driven down towards mid-off. Good running on this occasion, not standing and admiring the shot, playing the shot, driving to mid-off, calling for the single. Maybe just missed out on a second run on that occasion. Hetmar 8, 17 to Bhutan. And it would be great from a West Indies point of view if these two young men could give West Indies a competitive total, but they really will have to go heavily off the last 10 overall. Stark from the state of Western Australia over the wicket, and that's a slog outside the off stump and taken by Wade. There's no slip, but I suppose, Julian, that's within your book.
Yes, well, Puran looking to step upon it. Asbrin, who is very good with this shot over mid-wicket, normally called cow corner, but he does it with so much class, you could hardly say it's cow corner. But he does he played that shot over mid-wicket very well and just missed out on this one.
I'll put a question to you after this delivery. He's 18, Hetmar 7-3 for 60. And big appeal there as again he's looking to work that through the square leg. They hesitate about it. Let's see the signal. Signal is now coming leg by. So leg by takes it to 61 for 3. The shot outside the off stump that he tried to play up towards Scott corner. Couldn't he have not hit it through square cover?
Yes, I agree, Reds. I agree, but I guess he's just looking to play to his strength. We've seen him got out a number of times with the shot the last few months in particular.
Over number 12. Stark moving in 3 for 61. Hetmar 8 waiting. Bat picked up, number 2 on his back, and he flicks it away. It's in the air. It's going to bisect the two fieldsmen, and a welcome boundary by the West Indies. In the air for a very long time, but didn't go anywhere where anyone can catch it. Backward square, and the very wide fine leg just in front of our commentary position could get there. He goes into double figures. Hetmar moves to 12. Puran is 17. The partnership now 30. And there's a little flicker of hope for the West Indies, but they need to stay there for the next 5 overs, if not longer. Stark back to his mark. None for 13 off 1.4. He goes into Hetmar. Hetmar struck in the boot almost. Maybe the bottom of the bat. Now, where they're going, there is a run out opportunity. Puran started, and in fact, it's gone up. It's gone up to the third umpire. It was, in fact, shall we not, was there, in fact, a run-off, Julian?
Yeah, a little carelessness there, I believe, from the non-strikers end. That whilst the umpire was making his decision, Puran seemed to have wandered out of his crease, and it's going to be very close indeed. And as a matter of fact, Reza, I'll let you take over this one.
Well, it is short of the mark by about 3 inches, so the West Indies have lost their 4th wicket, a 4 for 65, with the captain. One doesn't want to call him acting captain. He's captain in his full right. Run out for 17. Certainly agreeing with Julian Charles. A little bit of loose cricket. You can't be wandering around when the ball is in fact alive. And what was a very promising start by the West Indies captain, ending now just about when they were picking up a very nice partnership with 30.
And they needed to, because West Indies need to bat these middle overs very well, and very careless indeed as they were waiting on the umpire's decision. They were not, certainly Puran was not in his crease, and the Australians, as alert as ever, recognized this, and it was a brilliant run out, then on the run, underarmed on the run.
Well, Hetmar has joined a discussion. I don't know what they could be discussing. Italy, England on Sunday, the men's final, NBA final. I don't know. Sometimes you've played first-class cricket. You have discussions which has nothing to do with cricket.
No, I think in this instance they're probably thinking of what's a good score. Probably talking about the senseless run out, and really keeping their minds focused on the game out there, trying to to ensure that the West Indies get a score at least in the region of 150 runs.
65 for 4, 11.5. Toss went Australia. They knew we came off a pretty topsy-turvy series against South Africa where the batting didn't fire, the bowling did quite well. And maybe the idea was, let's see how the West Indies will go.
Right, indeed. And whatever little bounce that was in the wicket, the Australians tried to extract it. And, they're pretty good. They're a very experienced team as well, so they would back themselves to bowl West Indies out under whatever they could restrict them to.
Well, the wait for the batsman coming in. Well, there's a 3 minute. It used to be 3 minutes, Julian, but maybe in the spirit of the game, that's gone. It's past 3 minutes.
Well, we really don't know what happened there. But there was some kind of discussion, but the feel that the incoming batsman took quite a while to come in, and don't know why. But he's now here, and the Australians seem to be happy to get back to their positions.
Well, if they said Allen being two left-handers, and maybe they were thinking of let Russell go.
Yeah, but the captain would appear to be having a discussion with the umpire. It may very well have to do with the fact that there was this hold-up.
Well, umpires now changing from the offside going to square leg. So Andre Russell, who had maybe a disappointing series against Sri Lanka, really needs to keep his fitness, and tonight he really needs to fire. So 18.5 overs. Stark comes in to Hetmeyer, and Hetmeyer gets it square, but there is a sweep out there, pitched up, and just opening the face and went down towards the squarish cover. So Russell's into action straight away as we move to the end of the 12th over, 66 for 4, and that's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy.
Any time is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Now with 2 convenient locations, Fairchild Street in the city and Speightstown, St. Peter. Try their snack boxes, 2 pieces, fries and a bun for only $12.99, or the loaded fries with chicken deliciousness for only $11.99. With barbecue and fried chicken, delicious burgers, the freshest salads and sides. Any time is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Follow at Crispy Fried Chicken BDS on Instagram.
So Mitchell Stark is backing Zampa after a little discussion between Russell and Hetmeyer. Zampa plays in Melbourne but comes from Sydney, from the state of New South Wales, bowling to Hetmeyer, who's on 13. He just got a good 33 in the last game as he turns it out in the onside, calls 1. Again, the running not good. There was no looking for 2 straight away, no putting pressure on the Australian fieldsmen. He settles for 1, he moves to 14, and it goes to 4 for 67 in the 13th over.
Yes, Reds, I quite agree with you 100%. There should have been at least 2 runs there. And when the Australians come into bat, we're going to see them taking 2s for balls played out in the deep like this.
I don't know if Russell is just carrying a little nigger. He was often on the field in Grenada. Well, that's it. It was a single. Russell will be in strike. Hetmeyer's 14, 4 for 67 as he comes forward. He plays almost a shot on the opening day of a first-class game, bat and bat close together. You don't often see Russell play like that.
No, but he would need to have a look there. All but 7-point-something overs to go, and we know the damage he can do if he faces about 30 balls or so.
Julian Charles allowing an orthodox defensive shot. Zampa balls, and again, nice-looking shot. Very unlike Russell, beating the inner cover. Long off, coming off the boundary. The strike is rotated. He is 1. Hetmeyer's 14. Julian, you're good at maths. You're a banker. 600 tickets were sold. You can just count once I describe this new delivery from Zampa. 6 boxes, I will say about 100 people up under that, and that's swept away. down to a square leg. Well, that's going too fast for a second run, so no problem there. 69 for 4. Russell is 1. Hetmar is 15. You've done your count. How many people we have in the Johnson Stars then?
Oh, 599.
That's why you're so highly promoted in the bank. And 1 is coming in, Julian. Add 1. Zampa goes in. And it's a straight past the bowler. The power of Russell certainly showing that to the Australians. He pitched up. He hit it straight over the head of the bowler, head of the umpire. And it went like an arrow. Very, very quick attempt there by Russell to stamp his authority. Maybe it will be his night. He is hoping it will be a West Indies night, but the Australian in a strong position of 4 for 73 in the 13th over. Zampa bowls and comes forward, respecting maybe the ball turning in and playing quietly out in the offside. The end of Zampa's over. 3 overs, no made. It's not for 23. He's been on the expensive side.
Yes, but it's certainly not his night so far, but he's a very experienced bowler, Reds. He's the second most experienced player in terms of matches played in this Australian team, having played some 41 games and taken 43 wickets at an average of 6.2. So certainly an international player of highest repute.
Well, just as the helmets come out, you get the impression that the spin will be pulled out for a while. So the projection, after 10 overs from now, 143, and that will be short in the mark. 8 will get up to 129. What the West Indies will get? Well, Andrew Russell on his day is one of the biggest hitters of the ball, white or red, anywhere in the world. But he's the non-striker. Hetmar is on strike on 15. And that's hit down towards long off. Not right timing and all that well, but got enough on it to get it down towards long off. The total goes to 16, changing over, except the 4 for 4. Australians did quite a lot of practicing. They were here ahead of the West Indians, and they got in a couple of extra day practice and a couple of practice under the lights. The West Indies were here yet last night under the lights. I can see them from my house. Is not too far away. Let me say that my house was built before the ground was built, so nobody considers, aha, that's why he built it. In fact, there were only 3 people in the Bunt area that had houses at that time. Yes, Marsh, whose father played for Australia, short delivery, and that brought Russell in his all 4s. But it's good to have a dad who was a good opening batsman, and then produce 2 sons who have played for Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And one made 90, was it 98 on his debut, was it?
Yep.
Batting at number 10 or 11.
Yeah. So, Marsh turning. He's been in and out of the Australian side. He's probably struggling to get in the test side now. That's into the right-hander. You can see him, the way how he took the stance, as if he was just waiting for that to be a little shorter and out towards the scoreboard, but into the wind, which batsmen always have to respect. Hetmar, I could tell you, he's had 19 balls for his 16. Russell has faced 6 for his 5, but he exploded here to Darren Sammy as Marsh goes in, and that's hiked away. And I've lost it momentarily, but it just didn't end up where exactly he wanted it to go.
Yes, ended up at extra cover. Didn't time it, and the extra cover fielder tried to knock down the wicket at the non-striker's end, which was the ball being backed up.
A chance to bang that through mid-wicket. So he remains in 5. Marsh goes in. That's pulled away, and a low catch taken. Now it goes right through the hands. So maybe a technical chance. Julian Charles will hold judgment on that, being a former West Indies B player and played for the Windwards and St. Lucia. He gets a single, goes to 6. What's the jury on that?
I think it just carried to the fielder at mid-wicket, and he didn't hold on. Would have been a brilliant catch.
Hit very hard and very low.
Very hard, indeed. But he got his hands to it. This is Henrik, I think.
Yes.
And he would have been disappointed.
Henrik's of a Portuguese background. I think he was born in Portugal. Short and hammered away. They could look for a second, but again, the running is not purposely enough. The man at backward point had to come across to his left. And again, Julian, I think missed opportunities, but that is for them to make decisions out there. He moves to 17. Russell is 76 for 4. In the shorter format, you've got to run your runs.
Yes, that Russell is certainly carrying an injury. I would think it, but he's been carrying this injury for a while, and sometimes it flares up. I think in one of his knees. So he's not the quickest in between the wickets, but he does make it up for the big hitting, and we hope that later on, that from a West Indian point of view, that he could hit a few out of the ground.
Well, we've had 14 overs completed, 76 for 4. The first 5 was 22. After 10, it was 61. And you could make your own judgments on how fast or not fast the West Indies bowling. Agard, who had 2 overs, none for 13, the tall left-hand orthodox player. Ashton Agard just wants a little bit of an adjustment. He wants the mid-on to come up towards a backward square or fine leg, waiting to see where he will settle. And that man from behind Hetmeyer has gone to like a third man. He's off the back foot. Nice looking shot. Quickly picking up the length. He's off the back foot, hitting that just below our microphones here. 77 for 4. We hear you. Hope you're hearing us loud and clear. I think we got a few friends all over the world. Got an email from a couple of people in Canada. One in Australia, in fact 2 in Australia, one in Sydney and one in Melbourne. So that's good to know that we're going from Jamaica right down to Guyana and further apart. Russell waits for Agard. And a big appeal, probably sliding down along the leg side. Wade really working hard for his contract. Big, continuous appeal, and the umpire totally ignoring that. But I think he really wanted to put bat to ball, not getting an extra. So he stays in 6, 78 for 4. Hetmeyer has got the responsibility now of picking up the scoring. And looks to pick up a single. Start very early to just jog. No pressure being put on the fieldsman. 79 for 4. Have a change of commentator, a change of comments personality after this. But nice to have a crowd, and maybe they have very little to cheer for. And that's height away, they can cheer for that. They are cheering now. That has gone virtually out of the Darren Sammy. I would think somewhere in some, well, hopefully not in your car, but a huge hit. Typical of Russell, making amends, 12 now. He scored 12 off of 10 balls in the West Indies, 85 for 4 in the 14.4 overs.
A tremendous blow by Russell. One of the biggest hits I think we have seen at the Darren Sammy cricket ground. I think the ball went out of Gurzile itself. Must have gone out of the tongue itself. It's just totally disappeared, and the umpires are looking for a new ball. But it's a monstrous hit by Russell.
Well, before COVID, I would have hit somebody in Grosley because it's Friday night, but those days are gone. Here's hoping it'll come back next year when everyone has taken their jobs. And 2 jobs have gotten some, I will say, 700 people in, because there are 6 boxes upstairs, which has got about, I will say, 15 people or thereabouts. Haven't checked myself. No alcohol allowed, and people have got to wear their masks. I can't see that from here, but Julian has got better eyes than me. In the meantime, the ball has been changed, and it's going to be a guard. 2.4 overs, none for 21. I like Zampa being a little expensive. Ryan O'Brien will soon come to do your presentation. A guard goes in, and that's gone in the same direction, maybe a couple of meters short, but it's the same addition to the total, 91 for 4. As the West Indies making every effort as the over starts to run out to get up towards that 150, 160.
Yes, this was a smaller six, if you like, but it still sailed about 30 yards over the boundary. A tremendous blow by Russell once more. And all Agard could do is just leave his arms on his hip and shake his head in bewilderment.
So again, are we going to have another change of ball? We can tell you, in case you've just joined us, wherever you are, Simmons caught Wade, ball Marsh 27. Lewis, who was the first to go, was caught Marsh, ball Hazelwood, no score. Gale caught Agard, ball Hazelwood for 4. Hetmeyer not at 19. Puran, unnecessary run out for 17. The captain, because Pollard is injured, and Russell 18 now off 11 balls, and the West Indies have pushed on to 91 for 4, and Agard will continue with yet another ball. And what the umpires don't want is that this to be hit out to the ground once more. Agard goes in, and they're happy with that because he turns it away to square leg. And if he was a lot fitter in his old days, they probably would have run 2. That's the end of the 15th over. The end of the 15th over. Ryan O'Brien and Greg Wilson will come to replace myself and Julian Charles. But the latest score here at the Darren Sammy is 92 for 4.
Bro, did you know that if you switch to LED lighting throughout your home, that you could save as much as 80% on your lighting costs?
Yes, man.
And did you know, wait, you knew that?
Of course, I also know that with using LED lights, I get brighter lighting that lasts longer and is better for the environment too. And by choosing my LED lights from Caribbean LED, I get up to 3 years warranty.
Wow, you know very much.
I hear all the ads on radio for Caribbean LED. Call them and ask at 621-0092 or visit them in Laura Estate or Wildy if you don't believe me.
Welcome back to the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. So the West Indies is looking to step up the tempo, and Andrew Russell has certainly changed gear, and the start of a new over this working this one down to a short fine leg position. Wade drawn from behind the stumps, can't prevent the single. The score goes up to 93 now for the loss of 4. We're into the final 5 overs of the innings. We've really had a lot of action going on today, so we're letting you know that the vibes, the Crumbs Bakery question of the evening, we're going to give it to you as we have Marsh continuing his inside his 4th over until this delivery. This one is played square and the fielder coming off the point boundary. So one more to hit Maya. He moves up to 20. Russell, who's really stepped it up a couple notches, 19 runs off 13 balls. And so far he's struck 1, 4 and 2 huge sixes here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. I'm sure the patrons who have come in and those who have taken advantage of having the opportunity, being fully vaccinated, well within the time allocated. And this one's a short delivery and looking to pull that one down back of the square, down to the boundary, almost in a long leg region. So again, a Russell capitalizing on anything short, getting, well, probably just a trigger movement down the leg side. This one was short from Marsh and down to the long leg boundary for 4.
Yes, Marsh on this occasion looking to follow Russell, but getting into the wicket very quickly and just whipping this one off the 5 for 4.
West Indies 98 for 4. This delivery is worked again off the pad by Russell. On that occasion it goes a bit squarer, but the fielder just having to move a bit to his left. 99 on for 4, the 100-run mark in sight. But still, I'm sure Greg Wilson, the West Indies, would have definitely been hoping that it would have been much further on.
Yes, at this point, West Indies certainly they are about one would say perhaps 40-45 runs short of where they would have wanted to be.
So the Australian captain Aaron Finch, I'm sure, would have been happy with that position. 99 for 4. We're into over number 16, and this delivery one outside the off stump. An expansive drive coming from Hetmeyer there. Can't make any contact. Russell has gone past him. Russell is on 24, and the partnership so far yielding 34 runs.
Yes, the biggest partnership so far in the inning, and the West Indies would really want this to be there until the 20th over.
Most definitely, and they would certainly would need these. Russell can stay out there until the end of the inning. This one is looking to play that one to leg outside the off stump, and there's a wry smile coming from Christian, probably saying, I'm luring you into that fall shot.
Yes, Christian certainly is in the midst of a good over. some 4 deliveries in the over, right? He has bowled some 1.4 overs and has only conceded some 5 runs. So he's certainly doing a good job for his captain, Aaron Finch.
Really keeping it tight. England in at number 1 in the ICC T20 international rankings, followed by India, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Australia at 5. The delivery is played down between the long on and the long off. Both fielders almost looking to collide, and very conscious that they were running in opposite directions. And in the end, the power of Russell telling and finding its way down to the boundary, and both fielders in some danger there at some point of crashing into each other. Didn't really time it that well, but the power of Russell, and he got it very straight, and the fielders actually on the boundary, just sweeping the boundary and able to cut it off, and a disappointment for Christian.
Yes, perhaps miscommunication on the boundary there. They were aware that they were running into each other.
Yes, I think Josh Phillip deciding that he's really going to pull up this delivery down the leg side. A slow delivery as well. Call wide because Russell was a bit off balance. Couldn't get in a position to really force it away. And in the end, it was well taken, well disguised there by Christian. So he's got to bowl that one back again. It was wide down the leg side. You couldn't see the weight taken off. And Russell maybe being slightly wrong-footed and not able to get bat onto ball. 42 he is, waiting for Christian in what could be the final delivery of this over. He's coming around the wicket to Russell's one is short. He's looking to pull a delivery outside the off stump down to leg. The over finally completed. 125 for 5. We've had 18 overs completed. West Indies sent in by the Australians here at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in the first of their 5-match series. And 125 for 5, that's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
It's a super sale. Now on at CaribbeanLEDlighting.com. Shop online and find the fixtures you're looking for at super low prices. Get flush mounts, wall mounts, vanity lights, pendants, and even chandeliers, all now on sale. Reap the savings on the perfect accessories to style or restyle your home inside or out. Log on to CaribbeanLEDlighting.com for the super sale. Now on.
Caribbean LED lighting. Look on the brighter side.
So Aaron Finch going to his opening bowler, Mitchell Stark, to bowl his final over. And he's coming from the northern end here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, 125 for 5. And Stark has conceded 30 runs off his opening 3 over. This one's a delivery that's played down to a long on. The fielder having to come off the boundary. Can't prevent the single. One more to the score. And Allen moves up to 6. So he's allowing his partner to get the strike. So he's playing his part, Allen, knowing that the power of Russell will be what is most suited for the West Indies at this point in time. And that one down to a long on. And the fielder moving in. Dan Christian couldn't prevent the single. Mitchell Stark continues once more. He's into his final over, his second delivery. And into this delivery, one is played down too long on. It's airy. Will the catch be taking a beautiful diving effort, but couldn't really make it. Really great effort by the fielder there on that occasion. Christian running from mid-on, and unfortunately for him, couldn't really get it. And Greg Wilson, hard luck for the Australians on that occasion.
Yes, great valiant effort there by Christian. Coming across, actually, he caught the ball, right? But when he was about to hit the ground, tried to toss the ball to the other fielder coming across, but certainly was just a little too wide of him and really couldn't hold on to the delivery. So really good work there on the boundary there by Christian.
We're coming close to the end of the first CG Insurance T20 innings here. This one delivery short, going over the head of the batsman, taken by the keeper. The signal coming from umpire right now that one over the shoulder, and delivery following up that very acrobatic effort there down at the deep long on region there by Christian. A very great effort by him. And Russell, he survives. He's up to 44. He's waiting once more for Stark, the experienced left-hander for Australia. And to this delivery, is putting a lot of muscle behind that one is Andre Russell in his arc, and that one we will have to speculate where it went. We heard Julian Charles saying he must have actually been out of the district of Grosile, but he's got a lot of power when it's in his arc, bringing up his 50 with that shot and all the way over into the deep mid-wicket region for 6 runs.
Yes, that was a huge hit by Andre Russell. Certainly it went further than the first one Julian did describe. So if the first one went out of Grosile, I could assume this one is close to Matnik. So a really huge hit there by Andre Russell, and in the process really bringing up his 50 valuable runs for the West Indies. 50 of, as you indicate, Ryan, of some 26 deliveries, strike rate of 192.3. So certainly he has done a remarkable job for the West Indies in this innings.
5 sixes and 3 fours. So he's really pushed it up and bringing some respectability to the scorecard.
Yes, bit of respectability, but I would still think West Indies are a bit, perhaps 30 runs short of where they would want to be in the 19th over.
And Mitchell Stark proving to be a bit expensive for the Australians. None for 39 in this inning so far. So I think he'll be looking for better returns as the series progresses. Josh Hazelwood, let's see if he's gonna come back for the final over. And the delivery, Russell is getting a delivery well pitched up to him and drives it down too long off. It goes too quickly to the fielder who is coming off the boundary. So 1 run is all there'll be, 135 now for 5 the West Indies, and Stark with just 1 delivery left in this spell. It's been a bit expensive. Economy rate of 10.43, especially with Andre Russell in this mood, and I'm sure Fabian Allen will be looking to give Russell as much of the strike as possible.
Well, with this last delivery, the Fabian Allen perhaps need to go for a boundary.
Yes, you must look for the maximum amount, even if a 6 as well. This one is an attempted shot down on the onside, but off the outer portion of the thigh. Just 1 run as the ball is bobbles into the offside. So we've come to the end of over number 19. 136 for 5 on the board, Greg Wilson. The West Indies, I'm sure, will need to go for broke in this final over.
Yes, this final over, West Indies would need run perhaps minimum 14 runs, which would get them to 150, which might not be enough, but might be a respectable score, something to fight with.
Well, they really need to power themselves through this final over. Fabian Allen, who's had a good series against the South Africans and impressed with his batting. 67 runs, as we told you, off his 4 innings, averaging 34. He would need to come good again tonight and stay out there with Russell and try to see how often he can cover the ropes. There's lots of guys lining the inner circle and just a deep mid-wicket on the boundary. There's also the long on and the long off on the boundary, and a man sweeping on the deep extra cover boundary as we're going to have the final over of the innings now being started. And this delivery, one is driven down to long off, and the fielder coming off the boundary. So it's Hazelwood who is going to finish off his spell. Been very impressive so far. 2 for 4 of 3.1 overs, and the West Indies going to 137 for 5. So Allen deciding he's going to let Russell get as many deliveries as possible in this final over as the West Indies innings coming to a close in this first game of the series. Partnership 36 runs off 20 balls. This one is Bolem looking to go over the top, wild swing, not really getting the sort of contact would have needed. Maybe some inner portion of the bat on that one. We'll have to really confirm. So an anticlimax to this innings in his first CG Insurance match between the West Indies and Australia. West Indies sent in, yes, as I thought, some of the inner portion of the bat. And Hazelwood, again, in the wickets. He's picked up his third and just conceding 4 runs. So he's the man. He's come back and has dismissed Russell for 51 of 28 deliveries.
Yes, good, impressive knock there by Russell, but equally good bowling by Josh Hazelwood. He has really bowled good line, good length, and on this occasion, looking to bowl a foolish length outside the awesome, and Russell really looking to muscle this one and getting an inside edge, and the ball ricocheted onto his leg stump. So West Indies really losing the wicket of Russell at a really crucial stage. They certainly would have wanted him to be there to perhaps get them closer to 150 or perhaps over 150 total, which would have been a more decent and more fighting total for them.
So the experience, Dwayne Bravo, 80 matches under his belt in his T20 international career. He comes in and he's going to take strike with just 4 legal deliveries left in the innings. Had an outstanding time against the South Africans as far as bowling is concerned. His 5 matches, picking up 10 wickets. Veteran McCoy this time is looking to drive through the offside. Again, just probably similar to what we saw from Russell, losing shape, head a bit in the air, off balance, and looking to drive through the offside and taken by the keeper. So a dot delivery there as Bravos come in, not able to get bat onto ball. The score staying on 137 for 6. So luckily, and will it prove a good decision by Finch to hold back his trump card. Hazelwood for the final over. He's already got 3 wickets for 4 runs. Wonderful figures. The delivery is short, and a short arm pull by Bravo. It goes down to backwards square. The keeper Wade runs from behind the stump, gets it before the fielder Dan Christian could have gotten to it. So it really shows that Matthew Wade is really quick as a keeper from behind the stumps, covered at least 40 yards and it really restricted them. So Allen will come into strike and Bravo is off the mark. West Indies to 138 for 6. 2 legal deliveries left in this innings.
Yes, and one would hope that Allen perhaps could get 2 maximums.
And Willie, let's see what he does. He's going to be forced for delivery as well. Pitch up, down to long off. 2 men are riding the boundary. He can't come back for the second. So again, Hazelwood showing all the experience and Marsh that long off, doing some good work, moving in quickly. It was also too well struck by Allen. It got to him quickly and he was able to rush attack and get the ball back in to the middle. And just 1 run, so 139 for 6. 1 more legal delivery left in the West Indies innings, being sent in today by the Australians. It's Hazelwood, and this one is short. He's looking to pull down to mid wicket, gets good enough contact, and over the ropes it goes now. 6 runs. Dwayne Bravo, lovely shot to close the innings. And could that be some sort of momentum going into the break? 145 for 6. It is Greg Wilson. The West Indies gets in their first effort here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, being sent in. And after 20 overs, 145 for the loss of 6, with Allen not out on 8 and Darren Bravo finishing the innings with a huge 6. He was not out on 7.
Yes, good ending to the innings, good ending to the over there by Bravo, really hitting one into the grass bank, but 145 for 6 after 20 overs, Ryan. I don't think the West Indies would be pleased with the effort or with the bat, but really kudos has to go to the Australian. They really bowl tight, especially Josh Hazelwood, bowl very impressively. And all in all, they would be satisfied with the effort with the ball. With the bat, it was really a struggle. It's only Russell who really brought some respectability to the batting. In the 20 overs that the West Indies faced, from what I could see, it's only about 5 overs ran. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 overs they were able to get scores of over 10 runs in an over. So certainly that's testimony to the sort of tight line and tight length that the Australians bowled. And Hazelwood in particular, his 4 overs went for just 12 runs, and he had some 18 dot balls in the process. So all in all, they really, as a unit, Australia bowled pretty well.
Yes, they did, and we'll probably give you an idea of the innings scorecard. Well, as we told you earlier today, the Australians, they won the toss and decided that they would take the field, and they were able to get an early success when you had Lewis, the player who had really taken the West Indies to some decent scores in the previous series. He went first. He was caught by Marsh of the bowling of Hazelwood without scoring 1 for 8. And at that point, it seemed like the West Indians would have been set back a bit with their informed batsman not able to give them the sort of start they probably would have been looking for.
Yes, certainly the early loss of Evan Lewis was a great setback to the West Indies, posting a sizable total or a more competitive total in the series against South Africa. He was the mainstay of the batting, and he went very early, second over, when the score was just 8.
Yes, it was, Greg. And then the second wicket going down when Gale stayed around for some time. He didn't look too comfortable. Took some time to really get going. Had a boundary in his innings, but that's all he got as far as scoring shots were concerned. And he had gone for 4. And the West Indies losing his second wicket with just 24 runs on the board, holding out to Agar of the bowling of Hazelwood.
Yes, Gale really was not looking too comfortable out in the middle, and he got a short one there from Hazelwood, which really rushed him a bit, looking to pull the delivery through the mid-wicket area, sort of lost the handle. His hand really came off the handle of the bat, and really presented a relatively easy catch for Agard in the 50-yard circle.
Lendl Simmons almost a run a ball, 27 runs off 28 balls. He seemed to be the batsman who was really going to step it up after the fall of Lewis and Gale. He was able to strike 2 4s and 2 6s, but eventually he held out to wait off the bowling of Marsh, and the Australians, I'm sure, have been feeling happy with the score on 35 and 3 wickets already back in the pavilion.
Yes, for a moment we saw Lyndon Simmons played a few really good exquisite shot, one in particular through the cover. So he started looking good until he really gave what one could say a very soft dismissal, really catching practice to the wicketkeeper. And certainly that sort of put West Indies further on the back foot.
Nicholas Pooran with just 71 runs in the preceding series against the South Africans looked to be in some sort of mood to really get a huge score here today, but that wasn't meant to be, and unfortunately he went runner by Phillip for 17, and the West Indies had really been restricted to 65 for the loss of 4.
Yes, Pooran and Hitmeyer certainly they were putting on a decent partnership, and there was an appeal for leg before when Hitmeyer was batting, and for some reason or the other there was just a mix-up between the two of them in the middle, and he was unfortunately run out.
Maybe some of the pressure, maybe knowing that after 10 overs there were just 53 runs on the board. But then we had Hetmeyer being the 5th wicket to go. He was caught by Stark of the bowling of Marsh. A very good catch, just falling to his left, maybe looking to drive loosely outside the off stump. It was at a stage where it really needed to get back onto ball, and Stark held on to a very good catch, and Hetmeyer was gone for 20.
Yes, Hetmeyer was just starting to look good, but the Australians certainly had a plan, and we saw Marsh bowling before the ball, which he got the dismissal of Hetmeyer. There were 2 deliveries wide outside the off stump, and certainly he was bowling to a plan, and really had Hetmeyer really reaching out for one, and really was not in control, and presented a good diving catch there to Stark right at the edge of the 50-yard circle.
Most definitely, and it was a good catch at the right time, because the Australians were really feeling the tempo being picked up, and we had Andrea Russell going great guns from one end before he went bowled by Hazelwood, just playing on, maybe not in the best position for the shot he had attempted, and getting it off the inner portion of the bat, looking probably to force it through the onside delivery just outside the off stump, and he played on to give Hazelwood his 3rd wicket, and Russell being bowled for 51, and that was off just 28 balls and 3 boundaries and 5 huge 6s here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Yes, a good enterprising knock there by Russell. Certainly provided some entertainment for the small crowd there at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, and his knock of 51, sorry, really brought a bit of respectability to the score.
Most definitely, and it was left to Allen and Bravo, with Bravo getting a sixth of the final delivery of the innings. And he had just faced 3 balls, and he was left undefeated 7. And with him, Fabian Allen on 8. There were 11 extras in a total of 145 for 6 of the 20 overs. The extras including 6 leg byes, 5 wides. So Greg Wilson won 145 for 6. The West Indies may be still at least 20-30 runs short.
Yes, right. I would certainly say that perhaps even 30-40 runs, I would say, short, considering that the wicket is a good wicket. The conditions out there would be similar to that of what some of the Australians would be accustomed to back home. So certainly, and with the scores that they had in the 2 practice matches they had between the squad, certainly they would feel that 145, that is more than gettable.
Yes, so a quick look at the bowling figures. Stark, 4 overs, no maidens, 40 runs, no wickets. He was a bit expensive, and an economy rate of 10. And he proving to be the most expensive of the Australian bowlers. Hazelwood, remarkable, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 12 runs, 3 wickets. And Agar, the first spinner, introduced the left-hander, 3 overs, no maidens, 28 runs, no wickets. Zampa, the leg spinner, 3 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, no wicket. Marsh, 4 overs, no maidens, 26 runs, 2 wickets. And Christian, 2 overs, no maidens, 10 runs, no wickets.
Yes, so based on the stats there, right, one could safely say that Stark certainly was the most expensive of the bowlers, went for at least 10, and Iga would have been the other most expensive, would have gone for just 9. But all in all, the Australia team would be very much pleased with the bowling effort to have restricted West Indies just to 145 for 6 of the allotted 20 overs.
Yes, Greg Wilson. So we've had the interval. We are just about to see the West Indies players coming out into the middle. Let's see how well they can defend the 145 for 6 that they posted. So it's going to be the Australians who are coming out in the middle to start the reply. We'll have some more from you, Greg Wilson. And it's going to be Joseph Reds Pereira to give you an idea how well the Australians start.
Yes, with just 146 to get, West Indies certainly would need to make very early inroads into the batting of the Australians. Certainly, you would want to see the back of the 2 openers. They would have to certainly pick up quite a few wickets in the power play if they are certainly to restrict Australia from scoring 146 runs. So a lot would depend on the power play, the first 6 overs, and if they get off to a flyer, then it may be difficult for us, since they really would have to be playing catch-up rates.
Yes, early wickets will certainly help the West Indies, and West Indies employing a slip where Australia had none. We're gonna see from the far end as Filch and Wade, 2 attacking players, 2 left-handers, will start. Pooran, the captain, standing way back. Gale is a slip, and Marsh, Philippi. Philippi is very attractive for more reports. Enriquez, McDermott, Christian, Agard, Stark, Zampa, and Hazelwood. Hazelwood should feel, well, I've done enough bowling, I don't have to bat. So, in the meantime, it's going to be Edwards starting the attack, Fida Edwards, and that's down the leg side and turned away quickly out towards square leg. There's runs here for Australia. They're off the mark very, very quickly, and looking for the 3rd run, and emphasizing what in fact we were saying, that you got to run your runs, and they turn what looked like 2 in 3.
Yes, they certainly go off like 2 rabbits, Reds, and made the 3 runs comfortably. For a long while, I thought it was just 2 runs, but they turned it into 3. And that's what the Australians are known for.
Well, you only do that if you practice it. And they were quick. You got to do wind sprints. So it's 3 without loss. And Finch now waits for Edwards. Driving well to the left of the mid-off. Again, the strike is rotated. So Wade and Finch. They've played a lot together. They should know each other. And Finch, the captain, who initially got into the test side, but settled like Morgan to be the leader of the one-day side. Wade, very pugnacious, and wants someone to move behind the bowler's arm. So there's a little hold up here. 145 for 6. And after the slow start, and I'll put this to Julian Charles, after the slow start, they did make good headway.
Yes, Reds, they were able to get 40 odd runs in the last 4 overs.
Yes, they were 22 for 1 off 5. Edwards bowls, and that slapped away down towards, well, he was looking, he hit that squarer. Rushed on to him. He was a little late in the shot. Return coming in from Simmons, nicely gloved by Puran. So 5 without loss. Good evening, happy Friday, wherever you are. And Australia, wherever you might be. It's early morning there. It's the reversal when the West Indies are in Australia. You have to stay up all night from 11 o'clock to 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, depending on which state we are in. Now we see a change. Puran is bringing the fine leg to mid-wicket, and the square leg coming down towards a long leg. It's 5 without loss. Finch is 1. And Edwards goes in, and that's tucked past the keeper, outside the line of the leg stump, almost on the full toss. And the ball picks up there just inside the boundary. So 2 more runs, 7 without loss over number 1. West Indies did struggle a great deal to get the ball away. Gale, 4 of 10. It was 24 for 2 when he departed, but Simmons made heavy weather in the Australian bowling with some very good shots. Edwards looking for some success, and for 7 short outside the off stump. And batsman doesn't even have to duck under that, really flying past it. So, unlike the Australians, the West Indies employing a slipping gale.
Yes, indeed. Well, West Indies, we have no choice really. They really need to be among the wickets. It's a small total, and so far from what we've seen, it's a good batting pitch.
Yes, it's hard to defend 145. You really need 160 and beyond. Edwards, the completion of the first over by the West Indies, none for 7. He's moving into Finch, and Finch working that through the onside. And there's a little hesitation by Wade, and eventually all is ready. So after the first over, Australia already scoring faster than the West Indies, but Simmons did score quickly in that period, 8 without loss. Here's the former Wimbledon Irons batsman, Julian Charles.
It's good, solid start by the Australians. Of course, they've got 2 very experienced players out there with Aaron Finch, the captain, making Reds that he, based on our research, that he's played 71 games and he's averaging 30, almost 39 at 2,349 runs. And Wade, at the other end, also experienced with some 38 games, averaging nearly 22. And they've played across formats.
Well, West Indies will have spin very early into the attack, because supporting Edwards from the far end, it will be Allen from the commentary box end. Here's hoping he's totally recovered from the shoulder injury. I think was on the left hand. So he seems to be all right as he moves in. The final hop, And that's caught down at the mid-off position. Straight cover, really. Pitched up and going for a big drive, not having a little look. Edwards and the West Indies really wanting an early wicket. They've gotten one because Finch going caught off the bowling of Allen for 4. They 8 for 1 in the second over.
It seemed to be a very good catch. The fielder seemed to be a Walsh. This one was absolutely motoring towards him, hit very powerfully at wideish extra cover, straightish extra cover, and Walsh able to, and Lewis able to take the catch virtually in front of his nose. But certainly a tremendous catch.
It was travelling at knots. Was he looking to hit it more through extra cover?
I think he was trying, yes, I suspect that, but he was also trying to go over his head, over the fielder's head, but he didn't quite get the elevation, although he got the power.
So the West Indies have started well. They've got rid of the experience of the captain, Finch, who Julian just gave you all his details, averaging in the mid-30s, played a lot for Australia. Allen with wicket under his belt. And the West Indies just tightening up the field. One gets the impression that the cover field, these men have been brought in a yard or two. Good attacking policy here by Puram, but they're almost moving in with Allen. It's 1 for 8. They're on the move. Allen goes in. They're coming in like an accordion. He plays it off the back foot. Picks the gap well. This is going close to the boundary and big effort there to put it back. And they had to settle for the second. Total goes to 10 with a loss. Nice looking shot. Picking the gap. And it's going to be Mitchell Mark, who has been sent quite high. Normally bats in the middle order, but that's more of the test match game. Driving straight, nice looking shot. In the V, just coming forward, tall man, and driving through the line. Gets it down to Russell in front of our microphones at a long on. 11 for 1. Field changes over now as Matthew Wade, the left-hander, comes in. Russell's moved a long on, way back on the rope. And there's a mid-off cover, backward point. Third man. Straight mid-wicket, a fine leg. Bam on a deep backward square going out towards the scoreboard. This is cutting away, and good effort there by Hetmeyer, because he had to commit himself, and by diving he was able to parry the ball into the covers area and stop what would have been runs. So we've had what was 12 for 1 with Wade on 5 and Marsh on 3. And this is off the back foot, and that's punched away very nicely. Good timing, good placement. Nice looking shot. Not a lot of power, more placement. Very elegant stroke off the back foot. Stroking it away. It turned out to be an expensive over for the West Indies spinner. Some 8 runs coming off for the wicket he is able to take. And with 2 overs gone, the latest score here at the Darren Sammy, Australia, are 16 for 1.
Old-time bakers in Bim bake from home. Remember the Dutch oven made of stone? Then came the bread cart. Oh, you could smell that bread a mile away. And then there was the bread van. Many have made a living selling from them. Now, your bread is as close to your home as you can get it, because there's sure to be a Crumbs bakery near you for a wide variety of fresh cakes, pastries, and bread.
Crumbs, so good, even down to the last crumb.
Still, it's going to be Edwards to continue. The West Indies were 22 for 1 off 5. Let's see where the Australians would be. 2 overs gone, they're 16 for 1. Edwards starting and stopping as he goes back to his mark. Wade, who is pugnacious. He was in the test side as keeper, but he's lost his place. The delivery, which is hit over the top of the keeper's head and down to the boundary for 4. Lucky boundary, but it's a boundary. He was looking to pull that maybe out of the ground as Russell did outside the line of the leg stump. And that goes down to the boundary for 4, 20 for 1. Lady Luck running.
Yes, ball off the gloves as he went to pull this one. Shot dug in by Fidel Edwards at a fair amount of pace, but luckily for the batsman, the ball going just wide of the keeper down to the boundary for 4.
Some similar shots will be glove caught by keeper, but didn't happen that way.
That's right. But we see Fidel Edwards hunting for wickets. Reds, we could talk about that. Whether you hunt for wickets or you try to
With his 9 is 1 for 20 as he bowls, and he's driving well. Lovely looking shot. Diving effort there was by Hetmeyer. They come back for the second run, and the ball is backed up. Gale as if he's playing left wing for Jamaica. They will be playing soon in the CONCACAF. They have a good lineup, Jamaica. They look very strong, and just confirming whether that effort there was by Hetmeyer.
Yes, wasn't a good fielding effort at all. There should never have been 2 runs, and Fidel justifiably upset about this. But as I was saying, whether you go to all out for wickets or whether you look to contain as the start.
Well, there got to be a policy. It's not just by the bowlers what field you are given that shorter side of the off stump. Bowling very quickly indeed, and that was a flyer and signaled wide by the umpire. So maybe not the ideal control at this time.
I fully agree with you, Reds, but this ball wasn't that wide, I would imagine, and the batsman would have some concern because this one really whizzed past just a foot or so over his head.
23 for 1. Third over being bowled by the West Indies, in case you have just come in. 145 for 6 the West Indies got, with Russell 51 of 28, Hetmeyer 20 of 25, and Simmons got a good looking 27. That's outside the off stump. Slow delivery, and Wade is not interested in playing. Standing a feet apart, as if he picked up the slow delivery. It'd be interesting to see how Bravo will operate with not a lot of runs to back him against the Australian batsman.
Yes, but Bravo, it will be interesting, Reds, but Bravo, as we know, have got a lot of skill, a lot of guile, and he may very well be a handful.
Yes, well, the West Indies will need that if they're going to get back into this game. They were about 30 runs short in terms of what they got. That's delivered as hiked away, and someone in the stand can take that catch, and they will get tickets for the rest of the game. That's outside the leg stump, and that was well picked up by Wade, and Wade hit that right into the Johnson Charles stand. Tremendous confidence, well put away. In fact, Miss Edwards is telling me it cleared the Johnson Charles stand. I'm slightly mocked by her own computer screen, but it does in fact take the total to 29 for 1 well hit.
Yes, that's a huge hit, Reds, almost comparable to the one Russell hit earlier. This one somewhere around, pitched up, short of a length around the hip area, and Wade, not a tall man at all, a very short man, just whizzed back on his leg and pulled this one clean over the Johnson Charles stand, way into the dark of the night.
Yep, and probably dropping into the car park. So Wade whiz on to 17, if I can describe it that way. Chunky little player, very aggressive, good competitor. Waits for Edwards. Again, pitched up again, almost on the full toss this time. He gets it out towards mid-wicket, and a misfield there by Hetmeyer, which allowed, well, funny enough, it didn't allow the third run to change their mind about it. Edwards still not happy as he walks back to his mark, and Australia now 1 for 31. We're in the almost the end of the third over. Edwards' figures is 1.5, none for 23. He couldn't be happy.
No, not at all. And the Australian batsmen putting the West Indian fieldsmen under a lot of pressure, turning ones into twos.
Well, you got to concentrate when the ball is running towards you or away from you. Edwards goes in, and that's played with soft hands. Well played, good running, as he went back and just pushed it out in the offside. Well planned. The strike is rotated 32 for 1 at the end of the third over, with Wade on 20 and Marsh on 7, a partnership of 24.
Combination of very good batting and very good running, and some aggressive fast bowling, but a little whiff, giving the batsmen time to free their arms and making the scoring a little easier. But we're about to see an interesting change, and the West Indies will need wickets reds if they are to get into this match.
So it's going to be Russell to come in. Maybe we can just look at we talked about the West Indies 145 for 6, Hazelwood 3 for 12 off 4 overs. Well bowled.
Yes, indeed, and when you consider that his last ball, I believe, went for 6, so he could have been about 4 overs for about 6 or 7 runs.
Marsh 4, 2 for 26.
Yes, Marsh again bowled very well, very tight, and put the batsmen under pressure.
Ashton Agard, his 3 overs cost 28. This Australian spinners didn't do all that well.
No, but when you consider that he went for, I think, about 14 in his first over, he did come back very well.
So it's Russell into the attack as we start over number 4, and on the lights here, that's pulled away, and bisecting. In fact, that's gone for the full Monty. Yes, lovely looking shot, hitting into the wind or no wind. That cleared the boundary, hit the bottom of the concrete enclosure that keeps the green mountain in good shape, as they wrestled up to 38 for 1, short and well put away.
Yeah, the West Indian fast bowlers will need to keep the ball a lot further up, as the Australians did.
So we're moving to 28 in labor time, as they say. That's short outside the leg stump, and short signal. But from my angle, it seemed to be outside the line. The umpire's in a better position than me.
Yes, it's just brushing the shoulder, and batsmen seem to be wanting to bat an umpire at the same time, but it seemed a good decision by the umpire.
Wade is 26 off 11 in 17 minutes, Russell bowls, and that's pulled away again, and again, frustration for the fieldsman down in front of the scoreboard. That's about 10 meters away to his left, and this has been a rough up over by Russell, who's conceded 12 runs off 3 balls, as the total moves to 1 for 44, and Matthew Wade enjoying himself, moving to 32 off some short bowling.
Yes, a gift of a delivery, really, just short, asking to be hit, and Matthew Wade just turning around and helping the ball effortlessly along the way for 6.
Had a hello from gentleman in St. Vincent saying he's getting the Mr. Cool Harry, getting the commentary loud and clear. I think he's working with the radio station. He did great work during the volcano, the early days. Good evening to you, sir. That's short and banged away off the back foot and rushing down to that area as the return comes in. So outside the off stump in this occasion, and nicely cut away. The ball just seemed to be coming off the Australian bat very quickly, 1 for 45, with Marsh, who's been a bystander, on 7, and Wade already on 33.
yes, indeed. Wade taking a liking to this short pitch bowling, whether it's in his hip or just outside the off stump. Of course, he's a very accomplished test opener as well, so this is not new to him at all.
So Russell trying to tighten up. He's already conceded 24 runs. And Russell goes in, and that's on a better length. And Marsh has to play a very orthodox stroke, runs it off the face of the bat down, deep down at the white third man position, backward point coming around. 46 for 1. So they are well within range. They've got wickets in hand. At this time, the West Indies were getting up to, I would say, 3 wickets down. There was 65 for 4, 137 for 6. That's how the wickets fell. Russell searching for his first, and that's slapped away and rocketed away and caught, slapped away off the back foot. And again, slightly blocked by our screen, but caught down at that backward point position. So the aggression by Wade, they say the mobby gets very sweet sometimes, and all attacking. Russell is very happy to see the back of Wade, who goes for 33, and Miss Edwards telling me 33, 14 balls, 20 minutes, 3 sixes, 1 4, and his partner is just a bystander in Marsh, 48 for 2, and this is in the fourth over.
Yeah, Wade would be disappointed in getting out in that fashion. It was a short ball wide outside the off stump, and he really did not place it. He had enough time to place it away from the fielder, but he went for all power and hit it straight down the throat of Hetmeyer, who took a smart catch because it was really traveling.
Yes, this mental stand just there just blocks up a bit, and the monitor doesn't help, but the monitor's been great for us. It gives us all sorts of things. So a slight reprieve for the West Indies. They've seen the back of Wade, 48 for 2. They need a couple more wickets to get back into the game. Here is someone who got a lot of runs in the practice. Josh Philippes, highly touted young player and one of the young batsmen in the making.
Yes,
so it's going to be just waiting to see who will come in from the far end. Is Bravo himself. Just a little discussion, and Bravo will move in. And both of Marsh is on 8 of some 5 balls, so he hasn't a lot of the strike, and that's a delivery which he just plays down towards almost a gully position. That's the chirpy Puran. You can pick up his 1 wicket. Boy, you want to go anyway. They got their own language out there. Quick, very quick. There were some great keepers in the past that were very, very chirpy. To say keepers have got to play a very important role. So Bravo goes into Marsh. Marsh is getting a slow delivery, and they hit past the backward point. He waited in it. I think he picked up the slow delivery. He waited in it and said, "That will not deceive me. I'll put you away." And by putting it away, Marsh goes to 12, and the total goes to 50 for 2 of 4.2 overs.
Yes, the bowling has not been disciplined at all tonight. The ball shot wide outside the off stump, asking to be spanked, and Marsh duly complied and dispatched it for 4.
So, Josh Philippe, a non-striker, we would like to see a little bit of him. Maybe the West Indian crowds wouldn't like to see a little bit of him, but as commentators, it's nice to see a new face. Whether he's easy on the eyes, we don't know, but from reports in the practice matches, he batted very well. Bravo looking for success, comes in. Short delivery, trying to get a comeback defensive dot ball, ends up bowling a wide.
Yes, indeed, Bravo. Trying to lift his spirit and his mood, I suppose, with some aggression and digging this one in, but way over the batsman's head.
Bravo, 1 of 4 that came out of Grenada with some success. Allen, McCoy, and Lewis. No others in my book. Bowled very well. Real competitor and a performer in more ways than one. He goes around the wicket now as he comes in to Marsh, and Marsh tucks it out in the onside. Easier Sunday morning, but this is Friday night, and they take a single. Pitch top outside the leg stump, not trying to hit it too hard, working the strike, and we get a chance to see Josh Philippe. Well, if you take the E, it's Phillips, but that's not the case. 52 for 2, and here's a young Australian of the future. And imagine that no Clark here, a number of people, Smith. So 2 for 52, 4.3 overs. Phillips, wait, taps away. Bravo is passing the umpire, bowls to the full toss, and he collapses as if he thought that should have earned him a wicket. But Bravo expects sometimes when he's bowling that everything should take a wicket. Was outside the off, some slow delivery might have dropped a little bit on him.
Yes, indeed, Reds. This one was the slow ball, not picked up at all by the batsman. Played right across it. And the ball did miss the stump by about 6 inches or so, but the batsman didn't have a clue.
And dropped a bit. Heard of Bravo, been told by Bravo. Now he's experiencing this. He's experiencing a normal delivery, a genuine medium pace, pitched up into the leg stump and playing it down towards the mid-on situation. And when you looked at his face from that delivery, which Bravo had him in all sorts of contortions, he looked almost embarrassed.
Yes, he was totally, I suppose, bemused or something.
Well, he was told you got to watch out for Bravo. Well, when you take guard, your mind sometimes, is in the battle. 52 for 2, the West Indies wanting success. Bravo wanted to go around the wicket. The square leg has gone deep out towards the square leg boundary. The wide fine leg is coming in off the boundary. That's the change. Bravo around the wicket comes in, and that's driven down towards long on, pitched up, in line with the middle and off on leg stump, and playing that simple. We'll keep the strike as the fifth over comes to an end. It's 2 for 53. I think we'll have a double change. I think I can say that the latest score is 2 for 53 at the Darren Sami.
Any time is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Now with 2 convenient locations, Fairchild Street in the city and Speightstown, St. Peter. Try their snack boxes, 2 pieces, fries and a bun for only $12.99, or the loaded fries with chicken deliciousness for only $11.99. With barbecue and fried chicken, delicious burgers, the freshest salads and sides. Anytime is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Follow at Crispy Fried Chicken BDS on Instagram.
Welcome back to the Darren Sammy Cricket Gong. It's Obed McCoy who will be picking it up from the northern end, and this delivery is short, pulled down to diving catch. Now Bravo coming forward, didn't have to go too far, a couple steps and thought he might have had to dive for it. It was badly timed, and the third Australian wicket going down as Phillip looking to pull McCoy, his first delivery, and he's gone. Caught by Bravo off the bowling of McCoy, Phillip, and just 1 run to his name, and he's faced 4 balls. So the Australians peg back, and I'm sure the West Indians happy to see the backup Just Phillip caught Bravo off the bowling of McCoy for 1.
Yes, Phillip on this occasion looking to pull one from outside the off stump, but certainly did not make proper contact. Didn't get good hold of the ball and presented a relatively easy catch to Bravo inside the 30-yard circle. So McCoy, immediate success for him upon his introduction into the attack.
So the defending World Cup champions are looking to make a fight of it and to really make the Australians really fight to get the target. Remember, they won the toss today. The Australians decided that they were going to let the West Indians have first occupation of the crease. 145 for 6 they got off the allotted 20 overs, and that was mainly due to a knockout 51 by Andre Russell and some support from Simmons, who got 27, and also Shimron Hetmeyer, who got 20. The main wicket takers for the Australians, Hazelwood 3 for 12, and Marsh 2 for 26 as McCoy in again. His one is short and pulled over the mid-wicket region into this. Johnson Charles stands 6 runs after such a brilliant first ball. Second delivery pulled by Moses on the first ball he's faced, and it seems like he was there all night.
Yes, McCoy just shot on this occasion, and really the shot arm jab, one would say, just whipping this one off of the hip there and going all the way into the stands.
Very good looking shot there by Moses Henry. First up, this delivery is again short, and again a similar treatment, same position, same outcome. 6 runs now being signaled. So McCoy really spoiling it, looking to already get some sort of confidence going, but conceding 2 sixes after picking up a wicket of his first delivery. Certainly not what he would have anticipated with a wicket of the first ball of his spell.
Yes, it's almost replica of the previous shot. It's almost as if McCoy did enjoy the first one and he really wanted to see Henricks play repeat the shot all over again. So certainly not the best of bowling there from Obed McCoy.
This delivery is driving on this occasion, but can't beat the outfielder. But again, they're able to get the single. So Mitchell Mark will come into strike. So both batsmen looking to get things going. The Australians certainly in a mood to really knock up these runs. They've been going rather aggressively so far in this inning. So despite the fact that McCoy got a wicket off his first delivery when he had Phillip caught by Bravo, but the Australians unrelenting to this delivery. This one is outside the awesome, looking to hit square, making no contact. And the keeper Puran, who's captain in the West Indies in this match, takes it behind the stump. So sort of anticlimax so far based on what has been happening in this over. Wicket off the first ball, 2 consecutive sixes. Delivery struck firmly into the offside for a single. And now this one just outside the off. So maybe some of the weight taken off of it, and not as quick as the previous deliveries. And maybe that is what that beat Marsh. With under his bat, both batsmen on 13. McCoy, this time he's being driven into the outside. Is a chase close to the boundary. He gives it up now. Good timing, wonderful shot. Just coming forward there was Mitchell Marsh and driving McCoy into the deep extra cover position. Lovely shot, picking up another boundary. So McCoy, despite the fact that he's picked up a wicket in his first ball, conceding 17 runs in the over, it's 70 for 3. The Australians, in reply to the West Indies effort when they batted of 145, and certainly a good start by the Australians.
Yes, very good start indeed. McCoy really spoiling what was shaping up to be a good over. Very first delivery, picked up a wicket and then conceding some 17 runs afterwards. Right? If we have to look at the very same stage after some 6 overs, the West Indies would have been 24 for 2, and Australia, they are already 70 for 3.
So the Australians, you can see the sort of attitude. They're always looking to stay in the game, not wanting to get behind the 8 ball, and playing positively throughout. So the West Indies, they're going to call upon Hayden Walsh Jr. He's going to pick it up with his leg breaks from the southern end here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground, also commonly referred to as the Players Pavilion end or the Kai Maje end. The delivery well pitched up, and the batsman getting on the full and driving it down to the long off region and pulling Russell off the long off boundary, and the single taken. 71 for 3. Mitchell March comes into strike. He's on 17. West Indies looking to slow it up a bit. This one is short and hammered down to mid wicket, but they'll just get a single as Fabian Allen comes to his left. He picks up and gets a return back into Puran. So the Aussies keeping the scoreboard moving. They're not just dealing in the boundaries, and I think this is something that they can all teach us. They're looking to keep the scoreboard ticking, reducing on the dot balls. Here he is coming forward is Moses Henrique. This time he's playing it back up the track. So some support there for Hayden Walsh Jr. coming from his keeper behind the stumps, and of late being able to develop a reputation of really keeping his players motivated from behind the stumps. Puran, this one is played down to long on. They will get a very easy single. Just trotting through for it is Mitchell March and Moses Henrique, and Henrique's moving up to 15. Marsh is on 18. Marsh 18 off 11, and Henrique's 15 off 6. So he's really been taking a fight to the West Indies. This one is driving down over the long off region, just into the basement of the Johnson Charles stand, almost in the southwestern corner of the ground here at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. And certainly Mitchell Marsh and Henrique in a no-nonsense mood this evening.
Yes, Hayden Walsh on this occasion just pitching this one just outside the awesome, really giving Marsh the liberty to really free his arms.
So Walsh again, this delivery is short and allows Marsh sufficient time to stand up and get it down to long off. And it's Russell who is drawn off the boundaries. And the return one bounce into March. They overcome. So then we've had 7 overs completed. Australia 80 for 3. That's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
That's the sound of doors opening to another Crumbs Bakery to serve another important part of the Barbadian community, this time at Silver Sands in Christchurch, another location with the same Crumbs commitment to bring you a wide variety of fresh cakes, pastries, and bread because they should be as close to you as we can get. Crumbs, now at Silver Sands in Christchurch.
Crumbs, so good, even down to the last crumb.
Well, the Australians definitely not crumbling here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. Alan starting over from the northern end and now again pulled down in the area between the Johnson Charleston and the Cassie Strand to our right. 6 more runs. So nothing loose will be spared. Mitchell Marsh on the back foot having sufficient time. Allen is slow and he moves up to 31 and Australia to 86 now for the loss of 3. What a strike there. And just we can get quickly in the Crumbs Bakery question of the evening. What is West Indies T20 international record at this venue, the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground? The ball is back with us. Greg Wilson, a very powerful blow and a lot for the West Indian bowlers to think about.
Yes, really poor delivery there by Allen on this occasion. Shot outside the off stump and Marsh had enough time to get into position and really deposited this one over the wide mid wicket region for 6.
Once you err in length, once you err in line, the Australians are going to pounce on you. There's 7 sixes already registered in this innings. 3 to Wade, 2 to Marsh, and 2 to Anik. So they're really going at it. Anything loose is quickly pounced upon. And what a start by the Australians here. You're not missing any cricket. The umpires are out in the middle and ensuring that the ball is kept in good condition. Our umpires this evening, Nigel Duguid and Patrick Gitchard and Gustard. And there's the Crumbs Bakery question of the evening. Remind you once more, what is West Indies T20 international record at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground? And you can get your answers to middlestomvibes@gmail.com or WhatsApp 1758-723-2576. Alan again, as play continues, driven down to the squarish cover. They take one, the fielder moving quickly to his left and just restricting the Australians to just 1 on this occasion. Allen 1 for 15 and he's only into his second over. The left-hander is operating round the wicket. Again, he's short, pulled. It will be down to the fielder down there at the deep mid-wicket boundary. Just 1 run on that occasion as Russell coming to his left to stop that one. And there's no run. This one is played. This time Russell actually coming off the long on boundary and restricting them to 1. So Allen maybe just pulling back the length on this occasion. And much better effort from him on this occasion.
Yes, Allen looking to pull things back a bit.
This delivery is cutting it straight to the fielder and is out caught. So the West Indies picking up yet another wicket. Allen again success for him. And the Australians losing another wicket, already caught by Bravo of the bowling of Allen for 16, and the score up to 89 for 4. They've been scoring quickly, but the West Indies could be encouraged by the fact that they're picking up wickets. They're going to drive through the offside of the outer portion of the bat, and Dwayne Bravo doesn't make any mistake.
Yes, Henrik's on this occasion really driving a bit loose outside the off stump, really not getting over this delivery and presenting a relatively straightforward catch to Dwayne Bravo. So Allen, yes, picking up his second wicket, but in the process being a bit expensive. Some 9 runs already coming off this over. So 2 for 17 and 1.5 overs, but the Australians certainly some 89 runs on the board, really marching on to victory.
So Bravo with his second catch of the match. He had Philip caught of the bowling of McCoy. So success for Allen. He's now picked up 2 wickets and the Australians 89 for 4. So the West Indies would be encouraged, although they've just got 145 on the board. Fabian Allen with 1 more delivery to complete his second over. This time he's being driven into the offside. The man just tumbling to his left at extra cover. The over coming to an end, and the West Indies with some success in that over seeing Australia restricted to 89 for 4 after 8 overs.
Yes, a good end to the over there by Allen after conceding 6 runs of the very first delivery, able to pull things back a bit, certainly picking up the wicket of Enric in the process. So certainly West Indies would need to continue to pick up wickets, Brian, if they are really to pull off a victory with some 89 runs already on the board, but just 4 wickets down.
Yes, and McDermott is the batsman who is coming to join Marsh. Marsh is on strike. Just looks around the field and sees that the West Indies looking to continue to get wickets. Bravo is starting a new over from the southern end. This one is played to the outside and no run. The short extra cover fielder just coming across to his right. Lendl Simmons, he fields no run, 89 for 4. Marsh is on 33. McDermott yet to get off the mark. He hasn't faced a delivery. And West Indies picking up 4 wickets would be encouraged by that. The Australians they're playing freely, going for the shots. This one is looking to play down the leg side. Wide call, and maybe just the appeal to put the umpire off by the keeper and West Indies captain Nicholas Sporan, but he was just greeted with the wide arms being extended by Patrick Gustard.
Yes, gone were the days where the umpires really used to fall for that trick, right? This is no longer the case now.
And it seemed like a very, very long time ago that they have not fallen for it. It's a Bravo again. This one is worked off the pad on this occasion, and down to the man coming off the deep backward square boundary. Hayden Walsh Jr. gets the return back in to the keeper, and March moves up to 34 and brings McDermott into strike. So again, we're going to have Dwayne Bravo with 10 wickets in the previous series against the South Africans, being looked upon to really keep things tight for the West Indies and to use his varieties to ensure that the Australians really struggle to get their target. Here he is once more. This delivers a slow full toss, and the batsman McDermott having to just come forward and play it quietly into the offside. So a mixed bag, the usual varieties coming from Dwayne Bravo, showing that he's evergreen and has really had a very illustrious career in this format and proving to be very instrumental in the West Indies attack. He's having a change in field. He's sending Fidel Edwards down to the third man boundary, and he's also having Russell coming from the long off region to a much more orthodox position inside the circle. So the delivery is only short and tugged down. The field having to come off the square leg region. Fabian Allen return one bounce into Puran, has a bit of difficulty picking it up, and nonetheless the Australians moving up to 92 for the loss of 4, and McDermott coming off the mark. He's on 1, and Australia 92 for 4.
Yes, some 54 more runs ran off some 68 deliveries, so certainly the odds are really in the favor of Australia.
Yes, the equation certainly favoring them, as Bravo coming around the wicket. The right-hander one is short and providing the batsman with sufficient time to slap it down to deep extra cover, and a meal is made of it down there by Shimron Hetmyer, and it makes its way down to the boundary. The anguish being shown on the face of Dwayne Bravo. Short delivery, it was slow, and the batsman having sufficient time. He had room as well, cutting it neatly off the middle of the bat, and Hetmyer unable to really come across and get cleanly over it, maybe just basically diving over it, and the ball finding its way to the boundary. Bravo will have to continue again. The final delivery of his second over, wide outside the off stump and call wide 2. Umpire Gustard not letting that one get away either. So Bravo maybe a bit unsettled with the previous delivery being leaked for 4. 97 it is for the loss of 4, and extras up to 4 wides, all of them accounting for the extras in this innings. McDermott is on 1. He's watching as Mitchell Mark has everything his way. 38 of 19 deliveries, 4 fours and 2 sixes. Waits for Bravo, and this one's again another slow delivery, but the batsman is equal to it. Plays it up to a mid-on. The fielder really having to come off the boundary quickly. Andre Russell, he picks up 98. It is for the loss of 4. We've had the end of another over. It's 98 for 4. That's the latest score here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Bro, did you know that if you switch to LED lighting throughout your home, that you could save as much as 80% on your lighting costs?
Yes, man.
And did you know, wait, you knew that?
Of course, I also know that with using LED lights, I get brighter lighting that lasts longer and is better for the environment too. And by choosing my LED lights from Caribbean LED, I get up to 3 years warranty.
Wow, you know very much.
I hear all the ads on radio for Caribbean LED. Call them and ask at 621-0092 or visit them in Laura Estate or Wildy if you don't believe me.
Well, they've just had one delivery to a short missing mark on the back foot, spanking it down to deep extra cover, and they just trot their way through for a single. He moves into the 40s, an equal 40. Australia to 99 for 4. They're eyeing the 100-run mark. We're inside the 10th over, and we just had one delivery from it, and it's Allen who's operating from the northern area of the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. And again, sloppy work by the West Indians, just pushing to the offside and able to pick up the single, as Simmons not able to pick it up cleanly. And the 100 coming up, and the 100 for Australia after 9.2 overs. And Allen just waiting for some adjustment to his field. He's coming around the wicket, the left-hander, just off the bottom portion of the bat. Look at it, that one screen to the offside and not really getting over it properly. There was Marsh, and maybe very anxious with it square in the offside, not timing it either. And the 100 runs coming up for the Australians off 6 delivery. This one is played into the offside. The diving figure of the man at point just can't stop it. Wide, and again the West Indian bowlers not able to really keep things tight. Bravo trying to dive over that one. It was away from him with some power. And another boundary to Mitchell Marsh, taking up to 44. It's 104 for 4.
Yes, short and wide outside the off stump, really giving Marsh all the time to really pick his gap and really free his arms. So really hitting it to the left of Bravo and picking up an easy 4.
Yeah, Bravo had no chance. It was well away from him, and to this delivery, Allen is forcing the push into the offside. Hayden Ward Jr. is coming across. He's quick in the outfield. They decided they would have gone back, changed their mind about it. It would have been a bit difficult to complete that. So Hayden Walls Jr. moving quickly in the outfield, showing some resilience by the West Indians. 105 for the loss of 4. We just have one more delivery left in the 10th over. This occasion, Fabian forces the defensive prod. The over comes to an end. We're going to have more from Greg Wilson, and it's going to be Joseph Reds Pereira to continue with the description.
Yes, the Australians, as we would say, really large and in charge after the 10th over. They are already 105, and if one were to make the comparison with West Indies, after 10, West Indies were only 53 for the loss of 3 wickets. West Indies brought up the 100 runs in the 16th over. So really, when you look at the comparison, the Australians are way ahead of where West Indies would have been at this very same stage, Reds Pereira.
The West Indies have done well in terms of picking up wickets, but the Australians have scored quite quickly at the same time. Don't know if the last dismissal was complacency. So we have the leg spinner of Walsh, who didn't play in Grenada, outside the leg stump and pitched up and turned away nicely. Coming back for the second run out to mid-wicket. And it must be getting colder in here because Greg has got his tracksuit on. And you've got something to keep the cold out, Julian? A man who lived 10 years in England is feeling cold in the West Indies. That just dropping short. That was a leg spinner that he hit against the spin, but didn't hit it hard. Almost like a golf shot. Strike is rotated. It's 4 for 108. McDermott, whose father was a fast bowler, a brilliant one too, is on 2. And Marsh is on 48 and looking well. And that is for hitting across the line. And Walsh is going to celebrate. He's waited long to get into the side. Roger Harper has talked about wanting to develop a leg spinner, and fairly soft dismissal, hiking that, and that was basically pitched just outside leg stump and turning into the middle and playing a more agriculture shot that you relate to a sugar estate. So he goes bowled by Walsh just at the right time. The West Indies has picked up their 5th wicket for 108, and he goes for 48. But well played.
Yes, a very clever piece of bowling though from Hayden Walsh. Reds. This one was actually the googly, which I think McDermott was looking to play the shot through extra cover actually, making some room for himself, but it was a googly and came back between bat and pad. And knocked the middle on the off stump. So a clever piece of bowling, and the Australians need to be mindful of the number of wickets that they're losing. They're losing the wickets quickly. One would reckon that another 2 wickets or so would put the West Indies in the hunt.
And this game is all about a balance, because you're starting to see the low order.
That's right.
If there's such a description, and his father could not be very happy when he reads about that shot. Because it was a bit of an agriculture shot. He pitched far away from the line, never got anywhere close, and maybe if he had tried to hit it outside the off stump. So Australia 5 for 108. Are we going to have a interesting finish? That's leg break, cut away from the inner fieldsman and the cover inside the circle, and the sweeper now comes across. Strike is rotated. 5 for 109. We have a email from a friend out in Toronto, Canada, Camille Willock. I recognize that name. Of late husband was a fine fast bowler who did cricket commentary also. Walsh comes in, and when you are uncertain, you push forward. When in doubt, push forward. And he certainly was pushing forward on that occasion, Dan Christian, and got a single out towards square leg. Well bowled.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Well bowled by Hayden Walsh. This time getting the ball a little closer to the batsman. I thought he was guilty of pitching the leg breaks a little too wide, but this time he pitched it on leg stump, but the batsman cleverly just pushed the ball in through mid wicket for a single.
1 for 15 off 1.1. He's happy with that wicket, and that's driven straight down the route out towards a wide long off. Ball travelling very quickly on the down the semi-outfield. It goes to 111 for 5, 111 for 5, and we can look at the track. How well you think this pitch is played?
I think it's played very well, and some of the batsmen have actually, just tried to got out of hand in a sense of thinking that it's so good. They take certain things for granted, not getting over the ball and not looking for placement, just belting it. But it's certainly played very well. There's a bit for both the bowlers and the batters in it.
So Walsh, 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 16, and McCoy is back in. Not a bad spell by Allen.
Not at all.
Picked up a couple of wickets.
Yes, indeed.
So it's going to be McCoy jumping. Thought he might have been given an inclusion in the ODI squad, even just to have him around, as they had Seals out in Antigua during the test match that the West Indies played. He was brought up, practice, thought that he need that kind of experience. Maybe you could have given them an ODI game. He needs to be tested. He will be tested now as he starts to run away from us. 1 for 17, he was roughed up, and that is trying to slap that around from outside the off stump. Hit the pad, goes down towards the man down a third man. So the strike is rotated. Dan Christian, who's got the background of being part Aboriginal. Very few have gone on to play for Australia. At least the full Aboriginal. As McCoy comes in, that's a slow delivery. Well, certainly bowled many of them in Grenada, and the batsman had to make the adjustment. So the slow balls overall, well bowled by both Bravo and McCoy, has given some trouble.
Yes, indeed. The problem is for the West Indies now that the Australians are so far up in the rate that they can afford to just keep an eye on the slow ones.
Can't afford to lose any wickets, so they need to bat normally for a while. McCoy goes in, and that's flashed away towards the man down at the deep cover. Nice looking shot, ball pitched up, played a very attractive shot. Marsh is on 50, and we'll get the details in just a short while. Marsh, 29 balls off for his 50, and McCoy is back at his mark. Christian is 3, Marsh is 50. He's held the batting together. No slip, but there's a short third man, and that's hooked away to the left of the keeper, who tries to get the gloves off and throw the wicket down. So McCoy back to his mark. But the innings of Marsh has been very, very crucial to the Australian cause.
Yes, he's the glue. It's really kept it nicely together. As long as he's there, it's looks like an easy victory for Australia. But the West Indies will have other ideas.
It's McCoy, and again looking to hit across the line, and that was not a good shot.
Yes, he's not picking up the slow ball at all. We probably thought this one was going to be dug in, but again, much too early on the shot, and McCoy could consider himself a bit unfortunate not getting a wicket.
We are very happy to be here, to be broadcasting test matches and broadcasting one international. It was a pity, Julian, that we're not behind the bowler's arm, because a lot is happening that we're probably picking up almost late. McCoy goes in, and that's on the full toss, and that's flared away, squared the umpire on the move. They come back for the second run, good running, the return comes in, good cricket all told. Ball was of a fullish length, and he didn't try to hit it in anger and too hard, and picked up some very important runs. We've had some 12 overs gone, 5 for 150 in Australia, and that's the latest score at the Darren Savvy.
Any time is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Now with 2 convenient locations, Fairchild Street in the city and Speightstown, St. Peter. Try their snack boxes, 2 pieces, fries and a bun for only $12.99, or the loaded fries with chicken deliciousness for only $11.99. With barbecue and fried chicken, delicious burgers, the freshest salads and sides. Anytime is a good time for crispy fried chicken. Follow at Crispy Fried Chicken BDS on Instagram.
Walsh 1 for 16, pitches up leg spinner, turned out in the onside. They're thinking about a second. The feeling attacking it from mid-wicket stops the thoughts of the second run. 116 for 5. So it looks like we've got thousands of listeners within the region from Jamaica all the way down to Guyana, but quite a few people have been popping in. We did have one from St. Vincent, Mr. Cool, Harry. This is on the full toss and whipped away. Just past the mid-wicket, it was over-pitched. And again, the effort there by Allen probably stopped the second run, because he attacks the ball so very quickly. Initially looking for a second, couldn't take it. 117 for 5. So Walsh going back to his mark. Marsh is on 51, and Christian on 6. That's the delivery. It's caught and bowled. And again, this typical Walsh celebration where he runs in a little circle. And that was a delivery which was really, it tempted him to try and hit it. And maybe was not getting to the pitch, and gave Walsh a very straightforward return catch, and he doesn't miss too many. So 117 for 6. This is turning out to be a very interesting situation. We had low scoring in Grenada, and you had people winning, and you had a situation where The West Indies didn't get all of that in their first innings, finishing at 145 for 6. This is the 12.3 overs. It's 6 over 117. Julian, your call.
Yes, and again the batsman having some difficulty here with Hayden Walsh. This one, Reds, I think it was a googly, although it was very well pitched up, so it wasn't clear whether it was the googly, not being able to see the bowler's fingers and arm. But the fact that the ball went back to the bowler's right would suggest to me that it was the wrong one, and the batsman did not pick it. And, Walsh certainly changing the complexion of the game.
And continue with the aggressive drive, and Walsh was happy with that. Ashton Agard has now come in, picked for his bowling, and got almost 90 in his first test. After short, and he went back and banged it towards the cover. Stopped momentarily by Simmons. The West Indies feel they got an outside chance to come and snatch this victory. It will be great for their spirit, great for the coaching staff, great for the West Indies board. And that's pitched up and driven past the bowler. Just Agard getting the pitch of it, not trying to hit too hard, but running it past the right of the leg spinner. So he's one, and these two have got a job to do in Australia. Still not a walk in the park. They've got to be very careful. They can't lose any wickets at this stage. Delivery, which is turning away, and pushes at it. It takes the outer part of the bat, goes to Hetmeyer at that square position in the offside. So Agard is 1. Christian is 7, in case you have just joined us. Wade was caught Hetmeyer ball Russell 33. Finch, the captain, caught Lewis ball Allen 4, going very quickly. Marsh, who's top scored, caught in ball Walsh for 51. Philippi, who's a lot was expected, wasn't impressive, caught Bravo ball McCoy 1. Henriquez caught Bravo ball Allen 16. McDermott ball Walsh for 2. Christian is not on 7. Agard is not at 1. And the West Indies have fought themselves in a position where they can win this game.
Yes, indeed, but they would need to keep taking wickets, though, Reds, because we've just less than 30 runs to go. And still a significant amount of balls to go. It's 7 overs, that's 42 balls. There isn't a lot of pressure on the batsmen to score quickly.
Well, the Australians, just according to what you just said, is just got to be sensible. Work the ball around, knock it around, picks up singles, picks up twos. McCoy got different intentions. Well, a delivery which is just picked up on the onside, hit it high in the air. I don't know again if he was beaten by a change up, but luckily for Australia, didn't carry all the way down towards long on or carry down towards mid wicket, and they picked up 2 runs. Christian moves to 9. Agard is 1. 6 over 121. We're in the 14th over, and McCoy from the commentary box then goes in. That's a full toss. And luckily there that wasn't really put away. Chris Gale just using the boot, a little bit of footballing there, signal taken. Luckily that wasn't put away, McCoy. So 10 now, he into double figures, Christian, and Ashton Agard on 1. Yes, he was brought into the Australian side as a left arm spinner, young man, but got himself into a partnership, and he ended up with almost getting 100. So the discussion and play held up momentarily. All is well as McCoy comes in, and that's a delivery, a slow delivery, and it dropping almost like if you have something controlling it. Mm-hmm. Great bit of skill. You don't learn that in 2 days.
No. Back of the hand stuff, running in at full pace, drops from almost 90 miles an hour to about less than 70. And, tremendous talent.
Yes, Franklin Stevenson really should be given a lot of credit for really bringing that into cricket. It's 2 for 122. A lot of people forget the Frank and Stevens slow delivery. That's not all that slow. It's a lot of genuine quick delivery, just back of a length and coming into the body. Igard is trying to pull it and find Gale in the way at mid-on. In fact, in 1955, I saw Keith Miller at Border bowl a leg break to Bruce Perlow with a brand new ball. And all of a sudden I said, hold on, that was a leg break. But people were experimenting with that early. That's pitched up and almost caught and bowled. Yes, caught and bowled. Pitched up, took it, tried to pick it up, towed the bat, and a diving effort here by McCoy picking up his second wicket. A great catch, a great ball, a great catch. And it wasn't straightforward. He really had to commit himself to get down.
Yes, indeed, McCoy, acrobatic catch, having delivered one of these back of the hand slow balls. Eagle trying to turn the ball on the outside. We got a leading edge, and McCoy lunging forward. It's taking a spectacular catch while somersaulting to complete it.
7 for 122. How's the pendulum going there, Julian?
Well, it's starting to well, one would say that it's even Stevens now because it's just 23 runs to go, 24 runs to go, but with 3 wickets left. If West Indies could just peg just one more out before the next 10 runs or so, you would think that West Indies would be favourites then.
Well, if you do a check on Stark like hitting the long ball. I don't know how he is going to play the fiddle on the roof here and work the ball. By nature, a very aggressive ball hitter. Let's do some justice to McCoy. 2.5 overs, 2 for 24. He couldn't be happy with the runs, but he's probably happy with those 2 wickets, and that was a great effort there for him to take the catch. He did pull out. He committed himself, committed the body, and now you get the impression that Bravo is now captaining the side. If you just look, he's like a French policeman on a busy day in Paris. Arms going all over the place. I thought Pooran was in fact the captain, but maybe they're working in too. McCoy goes in, and that's turned away outside the leg stump, and giving Stark a very straightforward turning away towards square leg. So 1 more to the total. That brings up the 14th over, and after 7 for 123, with Christian 8 and Stark 1, I can tell you that's the latest score here at the Darusami Cricket Ground.
C-A-O, C-A-O. What you doing? Practicing how to say hello in Italian so I can go impress the folks at Caribbean LED.
You mean because they have the new Fumagalli range of lighting fixtures, ideal for outdoor use, especially for homes like ours in the tropics, affected by constant sunlight and sea spray?
Fumagalli.
Alright, you. Head to the store at Wildy. I will go to the Laura Estate location on my way home. Oh, and it's not Ciao, it's pronounced Chow.
Wait, it's Chow?
7 for 123, a game being watched by about 600 plus people. We can't see the corporate box upstairs, but we can see it's going to be Walsh with his leg spin, and that's Stark getting to the pitch. He by nature would like to hit sixes. He's frustrated many teams, but he played that in a very orthodox position, out in the onside towards the wide log on position. Gives the strike to Christian. He's 2, Christian is 10, 7 for 134, and everybody has got a sweater on except myself and Ryan. Like, this place has gotten cold all of a sudden. Walsh bowls, that's outside the leg stump. Bad delivery, wide signal. Can't give away any extras at this time. Leg spin outside the leg stump. 125 for 7. They're chasing 146. Ryan O'Brien will be in shortly with all the drama that may take place. Googly goes off the back foot, plays it a bumping ball, pulls away well, ball well played.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And Hayden Walsh showing us his full array of deliveries.
Yes, he's bowled very few bad balls. This delivery which is hit down the ground, and this could be caught. It is caught. and the West Indies are celebrating. There's no carnival in the Caribbean because of COVID. There is a carnival here as the West Indies get closer to an upset victory, 8 for 125. And Walsh, the man with the golden arm, has now picked up his second wicket for 22.
Yes, indeed, the Australians seems to have taken victory for granted. It was looking like a walk in the park for them, and all of a sudden they lost those wickets one after the other. Another brilliant delivery again by Hayden Walsh. It was the leg break this time, turning across the right-hander, hit the ball a long way, but found Bravo, and Bravo making it look very easy, Reds, but indeed it's not easy on the lights, and Bravo just walked across and make it look so easy, and Hayden Walsh picking up his third wicket, and certainly has turned this match on its head.
Our score is just indicating 3 for 22, well bowled. It's a long time that a leg spinner has participating at the level of that success.
That's right, especially against a team like Australia, who are known for developing leg spinners.
Well, they haven't sent out a leg spinner, Zampa, to face? But we can tell you that it's going to be Zampa at the non-striker's end. He is partnered by Stark. He goes on to the back foot, plays a very orthodox shot with the body weight on the left leg. So the West Indies, this will make some very interesting reading worldwide. 8 for 127. And Walsh anxious to bowl, really enjoying a very good spell of spin bowling. That was the one that turned the other way, and he played it nicely off the back foot down towards the backward point area. Very important runs, run for Australia. 126 for 8. He's moved to 3. Adam Zampa, who not known for his batting, but known for good leg spin, so he'll have to use his own thinking about what is coming next as delivery, which is short, bad delivery. Bowl a quicker delivery, and that had Zampa in no trouble at all. Almost a medium pace delivery. Pushed it in front of him. That's complete the 15th over. Time for a change, and it's going to be Julian Charles and then Ryan O'Brien.
West Indies right back into it. Brilliant bowling by Hayden Walsh, mixing up his leg breaks and googlies and flighting and pushing the ball through at times. Have the Australian batsmen completely bemused, and they really don't have a clue what's going on out there. The googly has claimed 2 wickets and then a lovely leg break, the last. And West Indies, one must say, Ryan, that West Indies have probably moved into the driver's seat, but Australia still have a number of balls, quite a few balls to get the remainder of the runs.
Yes, Julian, but we could easily say that no one would have anticipated that the West Indies would have seen such a wonderful comeback, and the Australians seem to have been coasting on to the victory target of 146, and the West Indies really putting themselves in a very good position after just getting to 145 for 6 off their 20 overs when they batted. Now they have the Australians at 126 for 8 or 15. That was again weight taken off that one. Stark looking to drive to the offside as to make contact. He's on 3. 126 it is with a loss of 8. We have Greg Wilson back into the expert analysis chair, and the current run rate 8.31. But I'm sure that the Australians would not have wanted it to come down to Stark, Zampa and Hazelwood.
Not at all, Ryan. When we were last on, we were saying that Australia was really cruising home to victory. But right now it's 20 of 29 balls.
It's a completely different picture, but the Australians, they're fighting right through to the end. This was, again, a slow delivery, and Stark does well not to offer a cotton ball catch back to McCoy. So McCoy is continuing to in the region with his bowling and sort of variety that he's putting forward. So the West Indies getting a foil at this point in time to Dwayne Bravo in terms of the right-hander and the left-hander having varieties in their arsenal. And these two, they were the outstanding bowlers for the West Indies in the previous series versus South Africans. Bravo picking up 10 wickets and McCoy 9, and they again proving to be very good for the West Indies, particularly McCoy with 2 for 25. We had Allen 2 for 24 and Russell 1 for 14. This delivery is one that goes past the outer edge. Stark again looking to hit square. So the West Indies keeping the pressure on. If they're not getting the wickets, at least they're also restricting the scoring.
Yeah, certainly McCoy has been doing an excellent job, really. As much as the batsmen know that he's going to be bowling the slower ball, but they still have difficulty in picking it and negotiating it properly.
Andre Russell 1 for 14 in his solitary over, and he's been among the wicket as well for the West Indies. But the outstanding figures going to Hayden Walsh Jr. 3 for 23, and as you might have seen it from red, we see Dwayne Bravo doing a lot of signaling out there and really taking charge out there. He's definitely the most experienced as far as this level of competition is concerned, alongside Chris Gale. Nicholas Poran, we know is captain for this game, but let's say he's lending support to the younger Poran. He's down at long off, and McCoy. This delivery is well pitched up, and Stark looks to go aerially. The effort being completed. Yes, it is a beautiful catch. What a running effort there by Fabian Allen. This is out of this world. I think this will go down in one of the best catches ever seen here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. The entire West Indies team now crowding him. There was the long on. He ran from a wide mid-wicket position. For a moment, we thought the two of them might have collided, and Fabian Allen just stepping up couple gears. Stark looking to drive that. Didn't meet them. What a wonderful catch. Diving, getting it, and you can see the joy on the face of McCoy. Spectacular catch taken there by Fabian Allen. Even inside a commentary booth, as Mitchell Stark goes back to the pavilion, he's gone for 3 of 8 balls. Caught Allen a brilliant catch of the bowling of McCoy. The strike rate 37.5, but that's not of any great significance right now. The Australians 126 for 9.
Yes, really 126 for 9. Australia really not this point, but really brilliant catch, brilliant effort there by Fabian Allen. Stark really making the cardinal error, hitting into the wind, so that really would have worked against him, but taking nothing away from Fabian Allen. Certainly he really put in a good effort, and you had Hayden Walsh Jr. really running across, so he would have had Hayden Walsh Jr. also in his peripheral vision, and last minute Hayden Walsh Jr. sort of bail out of the effort of him trying to get to the ball, and certainly Fabian Allen really held on to this one. So Australia losing 9 wickets in the process, so just one more wicket for the West Indies and they would have really pulled off a remarkable victory there tonight, Ryan.
And the Australians needing 20 more runs. Not only did Allen make up the ground, but then he had to fling himself far forward, keep his balance, and then really celebrating the entire team to a man running to meet him, and there was some distance for the keeper Poran and also the first slip Gale to get down to the wide long on region where he took that catch. McCoy this time just looking to work off the pad as we see Hazelwood is coming while all the excitement has been going on to join Zampa, and the score going up to 127 now for the loss of 9. Zampa is getting off the mark, so the Australian innings coming down to 10 and 11. There's still 19 runs left. It's not over yet. We've got one delivery left in the 16th over, but the West Indies certainly have really brought themselves back into this game and really livened up the crowd, if we can call it that, at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground.
Yes, certainly the crowd, one would say, has certainly gotten their money's worth, Ryan, with the efforts of the West Indies. All they need to do now is really pull off a victory. And certainly we might see an additional 200 more perhaps tomorrow.
Yes, and the effort by Allen itself is sufficient. There he is. They're celebrating the victory, and the West Indies have pulled it off, looking to push into the offside. The outside edge found and straight into the gloves of Puran. He started to celebrate immediately. West Indies pulling off a spectacular victory here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground by 18 runs, with Hazelwood going caught by Puran off the bowling of McCoy, and certainly that set the celebration on the way. Hazelwood caught Pora and bowled McCoy without scoring. Victories for the West Indies by 18 runs.
Yes, good, remarkable victory there by West Indies, and good bowling there by Obed McCoy, pulling off some 4 wickets for 26 runs. Sorry, so really good effort there by the bowlers, especially Hayden Walsh Jr. and Obed McCoy.
So wonderful effort by the West Indians in the field. Greg Wilson, 127 all out. The Australians, and they're falling by 18 runs. And what a comeback by the West Indies team.
Yes, so a good convincing victory there for West Indies at the halfway stage. We were saying, well, I was saying in particular, West Indies, certainly they were short of perhaps 40 runs on this wicket. One would have thought that perhaps 175, 180 runs would have been a very competitive score. We never envisaged that perhaps 146 to win, that West Indies really would have defended that sort of a total. But I did indicate that the power play, they would have needed to pick up some very early wickets. And the Australian team, they really went up to a flyer after 6 overs. They had scored some 70 runs, but importantly for the West Indies, they had lost some free wickets, and they continue to lose wickets at a regular interval. They were after 9, they had lost some 4 wickets, 89 for 4. And after 11, that's where you really had the slide. From the 11th over, they lost the 5th wicket. By the 13th over, they had lost the 6th wicket. By the 14th over, they had lost the 7th. By the 15th, they had lost the 8th. So they really started losing the wickets at really regular interval, and they were not scoring at this sort of frantic pace that they were doing early on in the first set of overs.
Greg Wilson, we've seen a very extraordinary game here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. And as we said, the performance by the West Indies team here this evening would have definitely inspired those who had come in, those listening to our broadcast as well at home, and those I'm sure were also viewing on television. So it was really, really a great effort by the West Indies after just getting 145 for 6 when they batted.
Yes, we saw with the West Indies batted the early loss of Evan Lewis, and he was the mainstay of the batting in the series against South Africa, and one really thought that they would have struggled a bit, and which they did. It was only Russell who really brought some respectability to the score with his knock of 51. So at the halfway stage, 145 really did not seem enough for the Australian team.
Yes, Greg, we're going to give you a quick summary of what has happened in this innings when we're also going to be monitoring the presentation. So our technical officials here, led by Young Anius, is going to give us the signal when things are ready. And definitely we will be looking to bring you part of the actuality in the closing ceremony. German and you standing by to give us all those highlights. So remember, you just told you that the West Indies, when they batted after being sent in by the Australians today, we had play starting on time, despite the fact that we had a show maybe just about an hour before the scheduled start, but that did not really affect the start of play. The Australian captain, Aaron Finch, winning the toss and deciding he would have let the West Indies bat first. They got to 145 for the loss of 6, and that was Joe Million. It ended up being a crucial knock by Andre Russell, who came good today. He got 51. He was the mainstay for the West Indians. Lendl Simmons got 27, and Shimron Hetmeyer, he got 20. And only Nicholas Puran with 17, the other batsmen getting into double figures. Lewis no score. Gale, he had gone for 4. Allen was not out, so too was Bravo. And we're going to have our first presentation. We join Ian Bishop.
To the player of the match, and an award that goes to Obed McCoy for his 4-wicket haul. Obed, congratulations. How does this feel coming off of the South African series?
Thank you. Feels great. I've been working really hard, and it's just all about execution and sticking to the team plan.
When you say execution, be a little bit more specific for me in bowling on that surface defending that score?
Normally, I know that surface the ball has nice bounce and carry, but I was just trying to stop my pace as much as I can so the ball could hold up in the wicket. I noticed earlier in the innings when the spinners were bowling, they were getting a bit of turn, but not much, so I was saying that my slow balls were grip enough.
The belief of the team, Obed, as you came out to defend that total, what was it like?
We were confident. We know we have the bowling to back it, and we have the feeling and the experience of Bravo, Chris Gale, Andrew Russell, Curran. So we just knew that we had to go out there and fight hard.
And I just want to ask you about the future. How aware are you as to how you have to continue evolving as a player as you go further in international cricket?
I think evolving comes with experience as well, and doing the right things in practice and going out in the game and executing.
Very well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we've had our first presentation, and we continue to give you some of the highlights. We were just about to give you some of the bowling for the Australians when West Indies were out in the middle when they batted first in this game. It was a good effort by the Australians in the field, with Hazel getting 3 for 12 and also Marsh 2 for 26. They were the main wicket takers for the Australians. When they replied, not really the sort that would, similarly to the West Indies, Greg Wilson losing a wicket with just 8 runs on the board when Finch was caught by Lewis. A good catch of the bowling of Allen for 4, and that started things going for the West Indies.
Yes, the two innings really started in similar fashion. The first over, West Indies got 8 runs. Australia got 8 runs in the first over. And the second over, West Indies lost the first wicket in the second delivery, but Australia lost theirs in the first delivery of the second over. So there were similarities in the two innings.
Yes, Greg Wilson, but even when that went, we never really...
In the first T20 International, West Indies versus Australia, West Indies winning the first one. Before we get into the end of match presentation, Cricket West Indies would like to thank the official sponsors of the series who have made this possible. CG Insurance title sponsors, Sandal Resorts, Betway, St. Lucia Tourism Board, Blue Waters, and MasterCard. And I'll go straight into the chat with the captains. I'll start off with Aaron Finch. Aaron, first of all, commiserations on the result. But after the first half, you thought that you would have been in control.
Yeah, I thought our bowlers did a fantastic job, particularly in that power play. The length we bowled to restrict them. And then anytime you lose 6 for 19, you're going to struggle to win a T20 game. So we just needed somebody to take it upon themselves and get right through to the end. I think we needed under 4 and over for a majority of that last bit. So, yeah, very disappointing.
A 50 from Mitch Marsh, and he really led the way with the bat and showed how good of a pitch it was. The batting overall disappointing.
Yeah, it was. After the position that he and Matty Wade got us into, I thought that just a bit of game smarts would have just got us over the line there, but sort of panicked a little bit. We've been working on trying to be a little bit more aggressive through their middle overs, but maybe we just need to rein it in today and have some more smarts.
And in terms of the pitch and the conditions, did it change much batting second?
Thought the wicket probably played a little bit better batting second, to be honest. It seemed to skid on. There wasn't a huge amount of turn. In the first part of the game, the slower balls were just holding up a touch. So yeah, there's no excuses for our batting display there.
Less than 24 hours before the next match tomorrow. How do you get yourselves ready for that one?
Oh, you got to dust yourself off and come again with this. Well, with the same attitude, just to execute a little bit better under pressure.
Thank you very much, Aaron. All the best tomorrow. And if I can ask the winning captain from the West Indies, Nicholas Pooran, to join me here for a quick chat. First game as captain in the T20 International. Nicholas Pooran, first of all, how was that experience in your first game?
First of all, I want to thank my God, Jesus Christ, for giving me health and strength and giving my team an opportunity today. To answer your question, what a game. First game as captain, wasn't expecting this. We started in Grenada, we lost the series against South Africa, and we know we had to come back out here and do the right things. We didn't get as much as we wanted, 145, but all we asked was for a challenging total. We asked the guys for energy, and that's what they brought.
Your first game, you 100% win record, so you'll tell Karen Pollard that a little bit later. But what sort of score were you looking for batting first?
We wasn't looking for a particular score, to be honest. We just wanted to set up the game. After the first 2 overs, assess and then we can move. But we started to lose wickets often, and it's tough to keep going at a proper momentum. But it's just for us to rebuild that innings and try to go as deep as possible. Well played to Hetty as well, and then Russell coming and finish off well onto him.
The Australians imploded. They lost 6 wickets for 19 runs. How special were your bowlers?
Can't give them enough credit. They came out fiery, the Australians, and we know we had to get wickets in order to win this game. We stuck at it. We kept believing in ourselves, and it happened for us. We asked Hayden to just continue to attack those stumps for us, keep asking questions, and Obed McCoy, he just came and won that game for us in the end.
Well, a brilliant start to this series. If we can throw our minds back to the last series, you guys started off with a win, ended up losing 3-2. How do you prevent from that complacency stepping in?
We already forgot what happened in the last series.
Okay, so all the best, Nicholas Puran, and go well in the remainder of the series.
Thank you.
So yes, you've had it there, the captain of the West Indies, Nicholas Puran, in interview. We continue the Australian scorecard as we look to wrap up here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground very quickly for you. Matthew Wade was caught by Hetma after bowling of Russell for 33. It was then 2 for 46. The third wicket to go down was that of Josh Phillip, who was caught by Bravo of the bowling of McCoy for 1, 3 for 53. And then the Australians losing their fourth wicket with the score 89. That was Moses only caught by Bravo of the bowling of Allen for 16. And it was about that time, Greg Wilson, 89 for 4, that it seemed like the West Indies could have really put a fight up.
Yes, 89 for 4. Probably started to believe, and that is when you had Hayden Walsh really was spinning his magic, and they continue losing wicket from the 11th over on. They lost a wicket in the 5th wicket in the 11th over and ran the 13th over. They lost the 6th wicket. The 14th over they lost the 7th wicket. The 15th over they lost the 8th wicket. So certainly they were losing wickets at that stage at very regular interval.
Well, what started his magic when he had McDermott bowl for 2. It was then 5 for 108. It was 6 for 117 when Mitchell Mott, the main scorer in this innings, was cotton bowl by Walsh, and he accepted it gleefully for 51 of 31 balls, 53 minutes, 5 fours and 2 sixes. But then it all continued to go downhill. 7 for 122 when Agar was cotton bowled by McCoy for 1, and at that point it seemed like the West Indies could have really pressed for it.
Yes, certainly the pendulum certainly had swung greatly in West Indies' favor, and you could have seen the body language, and they really started to believe that they would have really pulled this one off.
122 for 7, then became 125 for 8 when Dan Christian was caught by Bravo of the bowling of Hayden Walsh Jr. for 10. The 9th wicket going on 127. Mitchell Stark caught by Allen. What a brilliant catch that was of the bowling of McCoy for 3. We spoke about it for a very long time during the description, and it will be remembered here for a long time. All of us who saw it and the crowd that was in attendance here this evening at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground. And then the end coming with Josh Hazelwood being caught by Puran, the keeper of the bowling of McCoy, without scoring, and the innings wrapping up at 127. The bowling figures: Edwards 2 overs, no maiden, 24 runs, no wicket. Allen 3 overs, no maiden, 24 runs, 2 wickets. Russell 1 over, no maidens, 14 runs, 1 wicket. Bravo 2 overs, no maidens, 16 runs, no wicket. McCoy, outstanding figures: 4 overs, no maidens, 26 runs, 4 wickets. Walsh Jr., 4 overs, no maidens, 23 runs, 3 wickets. Obed McCoy being named player of the match, and the West Indies ending up winning by 18 runs. And as you heard it there in the end, the Australians losing their last 6 wickets for 19 runs.
Yes, certainly it was the end. They really capitulated there, and West Indies certainly pulling off a remarkable victory. And as the moderator did indicate to them, they started the same way in Grenada by winning the first one, and then they really lost the series. So one would hope that there would be a certain change of fortune in this series for the West Indies team.
Well, on this occasion, it was the bowlers who really came back and brought things well in terms of getting a victory. in the first game. It was the batsmen doing the honours in Grenada. So we heard from the Australian captain, Aaron Finch, that they've got to dust themselves off and come back. We've got to do the same as well, but we got to take a rest. We're going to be back here tomorrow evening again about 7:15 to start the description of the second T20 International here at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground between the West Indies and Australia. So on behalf of the entire team here, my fellow commentator Joseph Reds Pereira, our